Hello?
All right.
Hello!
Welcome to Speedgaming 3. Welcome to more OOT Randomizer coverage.
What is up? How we doing tonight, guys? You having a good time? You ready to see an exciting race? We got quite possibly the match of the evening tonight. We got What the Hell's Happened versus the Salty Sponge in what is a rematch of Season 4 Grand Finals. These two are two of the best in the game, the best in the business, and we're about to see them duke it out for a spot in tomorrow's top 4 to see who wins Speedgaming Live 2023.
Yeah, they are going to face, like the winner of this match is going to face Drunas in the semifinals. The other semifinal has just been decided. The last participant, that'll be
Kawari versus Mr. Mario.
Yeah. So, by the way, that's Vidya James. I'm Tobias. You know
How's
these
it going?
people, right?
Come on. You see my face all weekend.
Exactly. And we have What the Hell's Happened and Sponge basically currently doing final audio checks, final system checks to make sure everything's working. I've already had a peek at their start screen.
Okay, what do we got?
We got Spirit Medallion.
Spirit Med, okay, that's good.
So we get a free dungeon this time around.
We like that.
And I think I saw Sun Song.
Sun Song, it's the 4th one.
Should be the 4th one.
All right,
yeah.
Sun Song. Okay, so that makes routing a little bit interesting because one thing that we learned, especially in SGL settings where there's a few less checks, you got one junk dungeon, Spear Zero gets all the more important. And, of course, we've got a couple checks that are Spear Zero and are time of day dependent. So starting with Suns kind of just takes the pressure off. Like, you don't have to worry about your time of day routing at all. Dompe's pretty free as long as you have a good way to CAC. Richard's pretty free. You're generally going through market in every single seed. So being able to get that out of the way right away without having to worry about, like, oh, when can I route this in, on my second child trip? You can just do it when you're in your first market trip, and it's very nice. So I'm a pretty big fan of Sun Song's start, to be perfectly honest.
It makes routing so much easier.
Yeah,
time of day routing is just... Obviously, runners of this caliber don't have a problem with time of day routing usually. But if you don't have to worry about that, if it just if you can just take that mental load away from the very beginning of the seed, why not?
Exactly. And of course, you usually, I haven't seen anybody do anything other than adult CAC to start out the seed, so you get another song there. So you kind of just pray for either ZL or a Warp song there, and then, you go from there.
Exactly. And we are now on their game screen. We have Sponge and What the Hell's Happened getting ready here. You can see Sponge in his...
The America tank top.
Yeah, that's in his America tank top. What the Hell's Happened in his hockey jersey. What team is that again?
That is the Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal Canadiens.
He's got the jersey on of Saku Koivu, Canadiens legend, and he's also got the baseball cap on of the same team.
I see.
Yes.
And likewise, what are you wearing?
Toronto Maple Leafs, maybe best team in the league. Let's go.
Well, I get to rep the Cologne Sharks from Germany today, so that's how I roll.
Yeah, it's surprising how much overlap there is with hockey fans and OOTR players. Like, it seems like a weird coincidence, but a bunch of us are into it. I'd have to imagine part of it is Hell's influence on the scene, but
I mean, it has to be, right?
Yeah, definitely. All right, looks like we're about to start. We're getting the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
And there they go.
Let's go. All right. So the first thing we're going to see is the 4 Foolishes are hard-coded to be at the Temple of Time here, and it will not be any dungeons. So we'll see what overworld things we're not doing today.
We're not doing Market. We're not doing Hyrule Castle. We're not doing Haunted Wasteland and Goron City.
Okay.
So 2 single-check Foolishes, 2 that are actually really useful. So Market and Goron City are both locations that have multiple checks. Market has checks that are available in daytime, checks that are available in nighttime. Goron City has checks that are available in child and checks that are available in adult.
Yeah.
Overall, can't complain about those.
Yeah,
Foolishes.
so the 2 ones that I think are interesting are Market. Market Foolish is a little bit less interesting when you have the Sun Song start, but it's still really nice because it's it's a bunch of checks that you just don't have to do. And then Hyrule Castle, like, that's in the same region, so you can just skip past that, go to Lon Lon, do whatever you want.
Yeah, you're fine.
Goron City also pretty nice. It's 7 checks, and a lot of them people tend to put off Child Goron City, so it's nice to know that those are just never going to be a thing.
Yep. And Child Goron City is a location that has bitten many a runner in the rear end.
Absolutely it has, yeah. It's one of the more annoying things, so I'll absolutely take a Foolish Goron City. One thing that's very interesting with the Foolish is that you can also play a little bit of metaing with what you don't get Foolish. Because if you have something, a region, say, like Gerudo Valley or Zora's Domain, which are only 3 checks, and you don't get those at Foolish, it means that very likely that they are going to be an important item in that region.
Yep, and our first path hint that we get is GTG, Gerudo Training Ground to Twin Rover. That means getting across Gerudo Valley is going to be all the more important here because an item that we need to beat Spirit Temple is going to be right there.
Yeah. And that's just, that's fairly standard. That's not like a shocking revelation or anything. GTG, one of the most dense areas in the game, so it's not surprising that there's
22 checks in all in Gerudo Training Ground, 9 of them keys, so 13 items to be had there.
Yeah.
And we get Saria's Song from the Windmill.
So, Saria's Song with Foolish Goron City, not really that important, although it does have implications for how you get to Forest Temple. That's a kind of vanilla bottle there, and Anju as child gives you the bottle, so there you go.
We're going to call that French vanilla, but it is absolutely useful because...
Is that Kokiri Sword on 20?
It might have been. We'll
and
see.
A bomb bag on 30?
Oh,
my God.
Hello, this seat has just gotten spicy.
They better pray for either Deku Light Med or just like another bomb bag there. Yeah, Kokiri Sword is on 20.
Sword and 30 a bomb bag. So we're hoping that that's not the first logical bomb bag, which can happen.
Yeah. Sponge is on switch targeting. I saw him shake his head and laugh at that. He knows we've been talking about this all weekend. You know, you got to check. You got to make sure that's on hold or whatever your preference is.
Yeah.
Yep. Both these runners making their way to Graveyard now. Again, nothing too surprising here. It is the standard de facto opener that we see.
Why do we do these standard openers?
Well, the thing is, Kakariko Village as adult is very, very dense, and it has a lot of what we call Sphere Zero checks, which means they are checks that you can do without any single items. And generally, the thinking is the lower sphere a check is, the more likely it is to have a required item. So you want to get a lot of those out of the way right away. And the Graveyard's just an extension of that. You've got 2 checks on the Dompe. We got shoes up there on the crate, by the way. That might come into play later.
Depends on what is happening with the seed. Yeah, we have a bomb back on 30. So if that is actually our first logical bomb back, we might actually see those shoes become important.
Yeah, and there's plenty of ways to get those. You can get a scale, go to river, and get the bean. Obviously, if we find a bomb bag, like who cares then?
Yeah.
But you can also, if you find the boomerang or the long shot, you can get those out of logic, and it's very, very useful.
Long shot is actually in logic.
Long shot is logic. Excuse me. Yeah, the boomerang trick is not, but long shot, yes, is in logic. So, but the chances of finding a long shot before logical first explosives is quite slim. So hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Yep. All right. So our runners racing an old man here. Sponge looking to be the first done with Dompe, but only by marginal. Oh, that's going to be a really good time. 47 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. That's a 47. Hell's looking to be on pace for about the same, probably 47, 48 here as well.
Might be a 49, but we'll see. Yeah. It's marginal in any case.
It's a 48. All right, so now this is where the first big decision comes into the run. Do you want to go do... Okay, well, we check Sun Trade first. But after this, once we're done with Graveyard, there's kind of 2 trains of thought. If you have the items for it, you could go up trail, you know, maybe do some Goron City. I know it's foolish, but there's other stuff there, you know. If you have the means, you can go to Forest and get the adult song. We have Saria's, so it is in logic, so that may push the runners there. Although I think with the items that they have so far, which is basically nothing, they're probably going to opt for the other option, which is going Child.
There's a third option, actually.
Hold on, there is a third option. This could be a required item here.
Third and fourth option in that case. Another bottle. Okay.
Dude, the MM player in me is like, dude, this seed is awesome. You get multiple bottles. In Ocarina of Time, usually there's 2 bottles that you care about. The first bottle and then Rudos.
Yep.
Another bottle doesn't really matter that much. It saves you like maybe a fraction.
Oh, and there's a dungeon layout. Whoop.
Spirit Shadow Forest.
Take a real quick photo of that. Not of my
Shadow
face.
Forest, Deku, and then I didn't see what Light and Forest were.
Unfortunately, I missed that. Yeah, but okay.
One of our lovely chatters may help us out here. But
yeah, probably. That being said, the other option would have been
Spirit Shadow Forest, Fire Jabu, and then Deku. Okay. Spirit Shadow Forest are our stones. Fire is foolish. Deku is the other medallion. And then Jabu is the light medallion.
No, Jabu is the forest medallion.
Forest medallion, yeah. I misspoke.
Yeah, we have Jabu, Water, and Dodongo's Cavern required to get that all dungeons check to get the song from Kakariko Village.
Sponge is changing off the hold right away. And this is useful. We do want to check about the save warp. Which bazaar is this? Okay, this is CAC. All right, we might as well just do chickens like right now. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so that is only accessible as adult, but if you spawn in there, you can leave as child. You just can't get back in.
Can you actually purchase items there?
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Yeah, it functionally is the exact same map as the one in Market. So,
oh, right, yeah. That being said, we the other option would have been to go up a river. So obviously, you can do that as child or adult. As child, you need a scale or a bomb bag to have access. As adult, you can just walk right in. It'll give you 3 item checks. It'll give you 3 more hints, especially in a seed that in settings that play pretty quickly, like SGL settings are. That might be worthwhile. Oh, what the heck!
No way!
That was, for those who didn't catch that, horseback archery in Gerudo Fortress has 2 strength upgrades.
That is very funny. There are 3 strength upgrades in the game. 2 of them are required to beat Spirit, which is one of our required dungeons, and a third one is relevant quite often in SGL seeds because there is a boatload of checks and Ganons locked behind that third strength.
So I do want to emphasize, though, we have 2 strength upgrades in Gerudo Fortress. We have 1 path to Twin Rova, Gerudo Training Ground.
Which is probably the Mirror Shield.
Get across that dang valley!
Yeah. Or, hear me out here.
Listening.
You could have First Logical Bow in Gerudo Training Grounds so that you can do horseback archery and get those 2 strengths. Now, that would be awful, but
it would be hilarious.
That would be one of the most awful paths of all time.
This is very silly already. But I did request from the admin desk very specifically the biggest pile of poo that they were able to roll, because this is the race of the evening here. So
we're really testing the mental fortitude of these 2 players.
These tonight, 2 can take it. So.
Yeah. They might need therapy afterwards, but they'll be fine for the time being.
Sure. Let's go with that. Start looking.
So one thing that's very interesting is that I know Sponge opted to save warp right away out of Market. 1, to change off of switch targeting, but also because Market and Hyrule Castle are both foolish. So you don't have to you have no business being in that area at all. The only thing is that hint for the horseback archery might evade Sponge if the copy is not somewhere else.
Yeah, so there's obviously a second copy of that hint somewhere. That's Serenade. There's a second copy of that hint somewhere, hopefully for Sponge that's accessible, because, oh my gosh, that's a powerful hint.
Yes, absolutely. That is, like, you need to know that. I mean, okay, admittedly, you were probably going to GTG this seed anyway, and assuming you have opponents, like, you're probably doing HBA anyway. But if you don't know that and you go to GTG without the horse, without the bow, then that could definitely bite you pretty hard.
Yeah. All right. Sponge is checking the silo here, opting to walk back out. Valley Lake.
So this is very, very important here. Like I mentioned earlier, because we did not see Lake, we did not see Valley as one of our foolishes. Valley, again, only has 3 checks in it, which means it's very likely to be picked as one of the foolish regions if it doesn't have anything. So the fact that we did not see Valley means that it's very likely that there's an item in Valley that we need. So this is this is a pretty smart play. This is a meta play based on the foolish hints for Sponge to go. And I've seen a lot of people been doing this weekend. We've been chatting about this, and I think it's very important to try this out and think about what the foolishes are and what the foolishes aren't, right?
Yeah. As you said, the lower item count a region has, obviously the easier it is for it to end up foolish and to end up on those 4 foolish hints. As far as I know, though, the randomizer does prioritize regions with higher item count if it can for foolish hints, right?
But that being said, usually those regions are more likely to have items in the first place, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So it's something. So Sponge is actually not going to Valley. He's actually going Forest.
Hiking to Kokiri Forest, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't really have a great way. With no ZL and no explosives, this is pretty much your only option to get into Forest. We are seeing some Sunsong routing here because we know that the 20 skulls is required for the Kokiri Sword. This is a 20 skull speed guaranteed. We don't know about 30, but 20 is guaranteed. So both of these players are routing skulls as best we can. We see Hell's going to Lake here. There's 2 skulls here available at night, and if you time it just right, like the timing is pretty tight for a single night cycle, but you can get both of the skulls here if you're very, very efficient. Okay, he's just going for child fishing instead, but he got one of the skulls.
Yeah, just probably already mapping out all 20 skulls in his head, honestly.
Exactly, yeah. There's definitely thinking about, you have to count. In this situation, you have to think about what's available to you, how many are in logic as well, because if you don't have 20 skulls in logic, then you need an important item like, I mean, they have bottles, so it's probably in logic. But, maybe you need a hook shot, maybe you need a boomerang, something like that. So you can kind of meta based on that and think about like, okay, Deku's probably not going to be that important if it's missing my hook shot, but that's why it's important to count skulls.
The bottles definitely add a big part of a big amount of skulls here.
Right.
I think there are 9 soil patches in the game that have Skulltulas. Obviously, not all of them are accessible straight away.
Yeah, I think 6 of them are accessible just on their own, but don't quote me on that.
It is for sure a good amount, so you want to make use of them, actually. I would assume they're going to collect bugs in one of those bottles pretty soon. Yeah,
absolutely. It's very important, especially like here in Lost Woods, you have 3 of them combined with a Kakiri Forest patch. So, yeah, bugs are going to be very important if they can find them. Although, I don't really know where Sponge is going to find them. We'll have to see. But yeah, he's going for Lost Woods right now.
OGC Fairy did.
All right, who cares? Whatever. It didn't show up in the Foolish Hints, but it shows up
Speaking of bugs.
Yep, so Hell's getting his bugs. And quite conveniently, there's a soil patch right here. So he could do that if his plan is to go to Valley. And what do we got? That looked like Din's, but I think it was just a heart piece.
I am honestly not sure. That was too quick for me to see.
Yeah. The speed, the processing speed of these players is too much for our mortal minds to handle.
Yeah, so both of them are veteran players. Both of them have been in OOTR for many years.
A very long time, yes. I believe Hells has been playing since basically the first season, and before that even, he's been speedrunning this game for a long time. Sponge, I'm pretty sure, showed up a little bit later, but he's still been, one of the most respected names in the community, one of the most talented. 2 Grand Finals appearances in a row, of course, and I believe he won 1 year of online SGL, so both of these are former champions of this very tournament series.
Yep, and rightfully so. Again, they're among the best in the game. Sponge is, Hells is opting to grab that second skull here.
Yep. Oh, that's fine. As long as you land back on the bridge, it's not that big of an issue. Although he is having a little bit of trouble here.
He's having a time, but that trick is actually not simple.
Yeah, it's not free at all. Okay, so Sponge got bugs there, by the way, from the grass patch, so he's fine.
Sunsong is another bottle, or rather is a bottle. Thanks, game. We have kind of already figured that out.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, so Hells is going for Valley here. So notably, we're already seeing a bit of a divergence here with Sponge opting to go for Forest first. I'd say Forest is more the standard play here.
Three-song route, right?
Yeah. It's usually, you generally want to go here early because you have a song available right away. And that song could be a warp song that leads to a bunch of others, and it just, it ends up being very important. And there's also a ton of hints in this region as well. So this will be interesting to see because if Valley has something important, the question becomes, okay, ZL is there. Yep.
Important.
That
important indeed.
Important, yeah.
Icy Water Slice, boom.
Okay, nice.
Ice Cavern to Bongo. Okay, so we want to get behind King Zora as quickly as we can.
Yes, absolutely.
In either age, honestly.
And with those bottles, that is going to be like, who cares about where Rudo's is? We just want to get there. Rudo's obviously being the logical access, but if you have a bottle, you can skip over King Zora.
Yeah, and we have Zeta's Lullaby as well. So Ice Cavern to, what is it? Bongo, right?
Bongo, yes. Yeah, and there's a King Zora hint, so even better. Like, let's just go to Ice Cavern.
King Zora dead?
Yeah. Exactly. So as soon as we find Iron Boots, it's like, yo, Ice Cavern time, let's go. Rush Ice as soon as you can.
Yep.
Yeah. So Hell's going here. I think Sponge is going to get the skull here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is just another convenient skull. Yeah, so Lost Woods has 2 of these. Kakiri Forest has 1. There's 1 in Lake that's accessible, 1 in Colossus, 1 in DMC, 1 in DMT, 1 in Graveyard. That's 8, and I'm forgetting the last one. Lake? Did I say Lake already? I think that's 9.
I think you did. Yeah, it's In any case, Colossus, did you say Colossus?
Oh, yeah, Colossus as well, yeah.
There you go. Colossus is the one obviously has the most annoying requirements.
Oh, yes. Valley is the other one, sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah. Good point.
Get some money, get stonks.
We'll take it. Colossus has the most annoying requirements, obviously, because you need Requiem Spirit to get there.
It can either be the easiest one or the hardest one to get to in the game, depending on your song layout. All right, so we're going to see the second Valley item here. Could be that the Hammer Rocks has an important item, and this is just nothing. Looks like boots. Maybe it's hard to see on this screen, but we'll figure it out in just a second.
Figure it out in a sec. Yeah. Transparency in the waterfall is a little bit tricky to catch on VC, but 3, 2, 1. Here we go, and it is a slingshot.
Okay, so not the most important item in the game, but it's damage that doesn't waste sticks, and it also gets you a check in Lost Wood, so he's not going to have to write that back.
DC Defensive
Ganon. All right, wow.
What was that? What was that hint that Sponge just read?
Oh, I didn't see it. I wasn't looking. I'm sorry. I was too focused on the DC to Phantom Ganon. Maybe chat will let us know. Bigeron is dead. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, who cares? But yeah, so DC, not a required dungeon, but it's one of the earliest dungeons that enters logic as soon as you get hammer or explosives. And with that, it's generally just a good idea. Like, you want to be going DC like as soon as you can. Even if it's not a required dungeon, it's usually going to have important items. So not a surprise that it has one of our items for Forest Temple.
Yeah, don't disagree. Okay, Sponge is picking up nighttime skulls in Kakariko. Yep. There are 5 skulls in this city in this village, I guess, that you can pick up. Sponge can pick up 4 of those because he doesn't have a slingshot. He doesn't have. He can do the trick to get that skull up on the ladder, but I don't know if he will opt for that. Depends a bit on how he's feeling on Deku sticks.
It's pretty tricky if you don't have sword. The frame window is pretty tight for it, so best to just not. Because if you mess it up, you lose a stick, and you obviously don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
You're not getting Kakiri sword for a good while, so best to just play it safe. Maybe Hells will use the slingshot. He might be a better position for this, but we'll see how he routes Cap.
Yeah, marginal differences in any case. Sponge is grabbing the Dampe check here. Good time of day routing.
Yep.
Because even with Sunsong, you do need to do a decent routing, a decent job at routing time of day here for Dampe. Dampe is only out before midnight, or before 10 p.m. even.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Thank you.
Yep.
So that's a minute of real world time, just about.
Pretty much. So again, Sunsong kind of makes the routing a little bit better. We see Hells is leaving here. I don't know if he's gonna do it, just play Sunsong and go for Dampe, or if he's opting to go maybe somewhere else. Yeah, okay, he's just gonna go somewhere else, probably to Forest. That's really the only thing. Can't really do River right now unless he got explosives when I wasn't looking.
If he did, we both missed it. The thing is, okay, Sponge is grabbing another song here.
Yep.
Getting songs early is super powerful. You can get access to warp songs, which will gives you access to new areas, obviously. It'll also, in many cases, give you access to even more songs.
Yeah.
So this can really snowball into a lot of mobility really early on, so prioritizing songs is not a bad choice. Meanwhile, what the hell's happened is choosing to prioritize Skulltulas.
Yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, I mean, in this seed, as we see more things unfold, then we see less and less items showing up. The message becomes a little bit more clear. Get that Kakiri sword as soon as you can. There's probably something in Deku. It's just going to be your progression. It's going to be good.
Or you get a bomb bag. Oh my gosh. Okay, 30
yeah.
Skulls is out of the picture.
Yeah, so thankfully 30 skulls, 20 skulls obviously still going to be required, but that bomb bag is pretty huge.
Hype.
And here Sponge is doing a trick which allows you to get this out of logic without a fire source of any sort. No,
he
he's
got
fine.
it.
He's
He got
fine.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is really good because it means you never have to backtrack here. Even though it ends up being nothing, like it's just good to get this out of the way. So doing this Gravest Child is very, very important.
Okay, so this bomb bag obviously makes it that we don't need 30 skulls. It also is completely in logic. It is available with Zelda's Lullaby. Zelda's Lullaby was just available from the windmill, I guess. I think.
Yes, it was available right away. So what this means is probably with that DC path, I think Sponge doesn't know about it yet. He's about to find out when he gets that hint. Probably means just go adult as soon as you can and get DC out of the way, right? Like, I can't imagine there'd be much better options as child at this point in time, right? Obviously, there's a lot of skulls you can get. This is a nice little setup, by the way, to get this skull.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't know that yet. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty nice. And then I think you do a little bit of a C up here, just a little bit there, and then there. You got it, yeah.
Wow.
You nailed it. Unfortunately, he's only got one stick. He is about to get rewarded with a slingshot, so hopefully he can manage his sticks properly. But yeah, he should be fine. And then I'd have to imagine as soon as Sponge sees that DC path to Phantom Ganon, he's probably just want to go adult again right away.
Which obviously will mean he will leave behind a check in Composer's Grave. At this point, he's not really going to be worried about it.
You mean Hells?
What the hell? Sorry, yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I'd have to imagine in his case, he's probably, I mean, he has to make his way back to CAC eventually. That's where your save warp is. But failing that, if he goes back adult without that bomb bag, Sponge is going to have a very early advantage that I think will pay out dividends later on in the seed.
That did look like a heart piece, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely a heart piece. Yeah, you're right.
I was, for a moment, was trying to convince myself that it is Rudo's letter, but how about no? Let's just not.
Yep, at this point, these two kind of doubling back on each other's checks. I do think in terms of skulls, Hills is in a bit better of a position having that slingshot and having a few more sticks. That child damage is extremely important, especially when you know you need to get up to 20. That being said, I mean, if Sponge just goes adult, then sticks don't even matter. He has a sword. He has bombs at this point. Like, it really doesn't matter that much. And you can get a ton, especially in the DMT DC region. There's a ton of skulls there that you can get. And you can probably get pretty close to 20 and probably wrap it up. Maybe you have to go child again. But if you do wrap it up as child, your child anyway, you can get the sword and then just go straight to forest, right?
Yeah, and you do want to do that. The Deku Tree is another one of those very dense, very quick locations. Even if it weren't a required dungeon, if you get a Kokiri sword early on, you are probably inclined to just do it, just because of how many checks and how quickly you can get them.
Tobias, my man.
Yes, sir.
That does raise an interesting point, though. If you get a 20 skulls Kokiri sword and Deku would be like, let's say, Water Medallion, do you still go for that? Do you still rush skulls, or do you just say, like, I'll get 20 skulls eventually? You know, it's not going to matter, right? There's no way Deku has something.
Do I rush skulls? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do I casually keep collecting them as I go along? And if I run out of checks, do I rush them then? Yes.
You don't go out of your way for them, but you absolutely keep that in mind. And you keep collecting skulls until you run out of stuff to do. Yeah,
you hit 20. It is an entire area of the game, an entire dungeon, and 2 hintstones as well that is completely cut off from accessibility by one item, by the Kokiri sword. And if you know where that is, you definitely work towards it. It's not. Yeah. If you don't have the urgency of it being a required dungeon, you don't do it with as much urgency, but you definitely still work towards it.
Sponge is about to pick up his light arrows here. Hells is getting. I'm actually curious what the skull count is right now.
12.
Okay,
12
yeah.
for Hells.
So,
I think Sponge is at 10.
Yeah, at 24 minutes in, that's pretty good. That's pretty good pace, I would say. And you have to think about, okay, there's the other ice to. Yeah, Sponge just sighs and shakes his head a little bit.
Oh well.
Does get his light arrows though. Oh, this will be really important actually. I'm curious to see what's on here. Okay, it's nothing.
Okay, and that is the slingshot basically out of the game, except for maybe access to Child Spirit Temple.
I do think the slingshot is a little bit relevant in terms of getting that child damage, but as soon as Sponge gets the Kokiri sword, like, he's not going to matter. Or he's not going to care about it. Even though having one stick, like, that's really all you need once you have the K sword.
Yep. All you need, because it has the same damage value as a... what? School of Stingers inside Jabu Jabu was what?
I did not see.
Okay. Chat?
Chat. Ref?
Magic.
Wow.
Okay, then.
So that is very interesting because that is the one check in Jabu that does not require the boomerang, right? So you could technically, if you find the letter, you don't need to worry about the boomerang that's on Icy Waters, right? You just go there, and then if you eventually decide that maybe Jabu is important, you just set FW there. Like, FW as child is really not that important otherwise. Like, it's usually used for Jabu, right? So
yeah,
you'd have to imagine that maybe if you find Rudo's letter and the other magic is just not available, like, you just go there. Like, you don't even care about boomerang.
Yeah, and honestly, with you know where boomerang is, and as soon as you have iron boots from somewhere, you can just get it.
Yeah.
Basically, just make a mental note of it and worry about it when it gets time for it. for now, so Jabu might become relevant later. Obviously, it depends on our song layout, depends on what song is in the Temple of Time on the Prelude check.
Right,
but for now, there's so many things to do, especially with that bomb deck, that you don't worry about it for now.
Yeah, definitely not. The one thing to keep in mind here, so I think what's going to happen here, Sponge is going to get the D, if he hasn't already, I think it's the one on Valley, the Valley hint here. Once he gets that hint, I'd have to imagine like he's immediately going to play Prelude and go Adult. In Hell's case, I'd have to imagine like your options are, do you go CAC and get the song, or do you wait until you're Adult? Like if you waited to Adult, it's not that bad, right? But you still have to double back to CAC just for Graveyard, just to get that one thing, when you could go up Trail and there's plenty more appealing things. Yeah, I'd have to wonder what the options are here.
We'll see what decision he makes. I think considering that the check in Composer's Grave is out of logic and the game doesn't expect you to have it that early, I don't think you are too concerned about it. Yeah, obviously, it can give you a leg up if you get access to it out of logic, but meh.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so he is save warping here. He's going back to CAC. I think his plan is exactly the same as Sponge. Get that ZL song out of the Sun's Grave. And get your bomb bag. Yeah.
With the safe warp, especially like this, as you said, doubling back to CAC, that actually just kind of goes out of consideration. Oh. Whoa. Okay. Quickly saw the Windows screen there, but we're back. Hello. With the safe spawn in CAC, actually, that problem of doubling back to CAC, as you said, goes away. Also, What the Hells didn't yet pick up those skulls in Kakariko, so 14 skulls
14
now.
Skulls, yeah, he is
that makes for
way ahead.
That makes for 18 skulls with us when he's done with his plays.
Yeah, and then I mean you have the one in Graveyard, and then. If you get the bomb bag, you could, if you really wanted to, you could go get the skull that's at... Oh, no, you couldn't. You don't have Boomerang. Never mind.
You can probably just get the one on DMT and be done with it.
Yeah. And then, so if Hells wants, he could get the K-Sword right now without ever going Adult, which would be quite powerful, getting to Red and Deku in the same child trip. That would definitely have some good Redding implications. We're also going to see 10 skulls here. Which is just another slingshot. Okay, sure.
Slingshot number, it must have been number 8 in this seed.
Yeah. We've seen quite a few of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to imagine maybe Hells, with his skull count, is probably thinking about just going to Deku right now. I wouldn't blame him.
Extending this Child 1 into Deku is probably not a bad play.
Yeah,
it's a required dungeon anyway, but if you save yourself the trouble of having to go back Adult and later going back Child one more time to route this in, why not? That's 18 in here, 19 in... 19, as you said, in the graveyard. Skullmask is dead, by the way.
This is Boulder of Destiny, yeah.
And Boulder of Destiny has another bomb bag. Okay, right, so we know all 3 bomb bags. We know one is on 30. We know one in Boulder of Destiny, and we know one in the Composer's Grave. So cool, I guess.
All right, so Hell's going, and I believe he did set his time of day specifically for Dompe as well. Yeah, so what we're seeing here is that obviously What the Hells is a little bit ahead in terms of, if you want to call Skulls collecting progression, then he's ahead that way. But as we see, Sponge has already gone back Adult. He is going to DC right now, which is also not, I mean, it is progression in terms of getting the Phantom Ganon hit. We'll have to see once he gets the required item if he just chooses. He'd probably choose to just clear the rest of DC because it is, it's a very good dungeon and it's relatively fast.
Yeah, DC is another one of those dungeons that is quick to do and also has a bunch of checks. So good density. Nice. In terms of density, we're talking about 2 things: number of checks in a location, and also how many checks you can do per minute in that location. Yeah. So, for example, Forest Temple. Much less dense, even though there's a bunch of checks in that location. It is just
it is a 15-minute
long dungeon. Yeah.
The thing about Forest Temple you do have to keep in mind is that it is very front-loaded. Like the first series of checks is always going to be a number of items. When you get to the middle section, most of them are going to be keys, filling out the rest of the key logic. And then the last couple items take the most amount of time. Like they're the more high committal ones. So you can generally get away like most seeds if you don't have a required for. do here, but you can generally get away with doing the front part of forest and then leaving, and then that's generally a more efficient play.
Bailing after the courtyard, definitely a pretty popular play, yeah. And that is what the hell's happened. Picking up his bomb back, I can only imagine that he is, after Deku, already planning to head to Dodongo's Cavern at this point. So pretty efficient routing here from both of them.
Yeah, definitely. Just going in a little bit different directions, but I'm sure they'll double back on each other at some point. So, yeah, okay, so this is, what's Sponge Skull count at? That's number 12. Okay,
Ooh, okay.
That is a little worrying, a little concerning when you look at the number on What the Hell screen, but...
that being said, Hells really did double down on Skull. Sponge
he
obviously did a bunch of discovery that Hells has not yet done, so...
Yeah. Nice little trail chest peek there. It was just a small chest. And important to note, there are quite a few skulls that you can opt to do in DC and along this path of DMT in Goron City. So Sponge will definitely be able to do skulls as he does progression, which might end up working out just to be a little bit more efficient. But if Deku's important, then getting there as soon as possible is obviously the goal. Yeah, there's the
a
other
second copy of the hint.
Yeah, right in DC. So thanks for reaffirming that this is the right place to be right now. You know?
Thank you, game. It is a nice reminder, and Sponge doing the rarely seen side room here that has 2 skulls for him.
I mean, if your goal is to get 20 skulls before you go back child, this is definitely one of the skulls you want to be doing. For sure, like, just do it along the way, like, in places you're already going to be is the way to be efficient with it. The issue being this skull is kind of out of the way. It does take quite a bit of time, but if you're here anyway, you might as well do it if you're a little bit behind on your skull count.
Hey, at least he's not doing the Armos push.
It's true, yep. Statue push. I mean, it's a little better now. They made it a little faster, but it's still miserable to do.
Shout out to my pals at Rando House for kind of pushing for that.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's complaining about that now.
No.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing how there's so many changes that, like, people are resistant at first, and then they actually play the settings. It's like, oh, this is actually really nice. Like, I haven't heard anyone say a single bad thing about 3 Chickens since we started playing SGL settings, you know? I'm just saying.
I'm not debating you on this one. Yeah. Just, brother, we are in agreement.
Brother. All right, so that's 20 skulls for What the Hells. He will be getting his K-Sword.
And also Deku Tree, I guess.
Yeah. The only issue I really see with this routing is that getting back to Forest, I mean, he's going to go up DMT, probably, or cut through Field. There's 2 options, really. So we'll have to see, but... let's say Sponge checks a couple of the songs as adult here. If he gets Minuet, that is just going to be a strict advantage for him in terms of overworld routing to get back to Deku.
Yep, that'll immediately just give him so much more mobility. There's Kokiri's sword, and let's see where he's headed then. Do we cut across field? It looks like we're cutting across field here.
Yeah, if you have Foolish Goron City, there's not really a reason to go that way. A little bit of trouble there. Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
This Skulltula is trolling Sponge right now.
Yeah, but thankfully he gets it eventually. Yeah, he's up
14.
to 14 now. He might go for the backroom skull, which means he'd be leaving DC with 15. There's the one in Goron City. If he wants to, he can get the one, because he has Sun Song, he can get the one behind the boulder if he knows the jump slash. I'm trying to think what other ones there are that are available pretty easily as adult. I'm struggling to come up with what he can do, but I mean, if you're just wrapping up and you do some child cleanup, then you can definitely get a couple more as child, and you're probably fine to just save warp and then go get your K-Sword. And again, if he has a warp song to get him close to Deku, then it's just going to work out way better for his overworld routing.
Yeah, that warp song would be clutch. And here in the bomb bag spot, let's see what we get as our potential path item to Phantom Ganon.
It's Rudos.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so Ice Cavern.
Ice Cavern path to...
Path to Bongo.
Path to Bongo.
Yep. Boomerang is on Icy Waters, so maybe you just go Ice right now, set up W there, and as soon as you find the Iron Boots, you make a call. Like, obviously, Boomerang we might not even need this seed. So it might not end up being required. But if it is, then setting up W in Ice Cavern is a very, very strong option. No magic, though, so never mind. I'm an idiot.
Well, we know where magic is, though.
That's true.
And
that's true. And we can get it. It is in logic.
Yes,
it is.
It is available with Ludo Zetter now.
Yeah, all right. So, FW in these settings, FW especially is very important. Just in terms of the speed of the seed and the power of the players in the tournament, getting efficient FW routing is very, very important.
For sure. Final Frogs is another slingshot, so that is slingshot number 3. Aside from the memes, that is all the slingshots in the game.
Yeah, and so, well, we're never getting that slingshot. Like, no. All right, so at this point, we'll see Hells enter Deku. We'll get one more hint here.
Ice Cavern still past the bongo.
Is that the third that we've seen?
No, that's the second copy.
Okay. Yeah, so important to note in these settings, well, just in any settings in general, there is a copy of every single hint, which means you'll see every hint twice. If we happen to see a third copy of a path hint, it means it is doubly hinted, which means there are 2 items there on that same path. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. We've seen it happen earlier in this tournament, so it's something very important to keep in mind, especially with areas like Ice Cavern. If it's just loaded with items to get you into Shadow Temple, it's going to be very important to go there right away.
In any case, Ice Cavern is the place to be, and there's another potential path item right here. Top King Dodongo. We get a bow. Okay, that's our more likely. Oh, that is definitely the Phantom Ganon path in this case.
Yeah, so that makes GTG all the more important as well.
Yep.
With its path to Twin Roba, because now it's basically guaranteed that Mirror Shield is going to be in GTG. Yeah.
Depends on where the long shot or hook shot is.
Yeah. If we find Horse, then who knows? This could be it right here, though. Yep, there you go. Hook shot.
Can you please put the Spider-Lock away?
What do you mean? Hold on. Let me get it out of here. No, dude, Deku good.
Deku good?
In 2023? Are you kidding me?
In this economy?
What? Never heard of such a thing.
No. Anyway, that's Sponge done with King Dodongo. We'll see if Dodongo's Cavern will provide us with one more major item or what King Dodongo's Heart Container spot will give us.
So now that third strength becomes kind of interesting because if you don't find the horse, then you might not be good clearing forest for quite a while if you can't find the other strength, right?
So Toffal in chat is theory crafting Iron Boots in GTG.
Iron Boots in GTG.
For Boomerang, for something deeper in Jabu, that would be kind of rude.
That is the kind of routing that only a Twitch chatter could come up with.
Absolutely.
That is definitely like, this is absolute worst case scenario. The seed wants as much pain and misery as possible.
I.e. it's a chat seed.
Yeah. In practice, though, and I was kind of talking this on comms yesterday with Hila, or it might have been 2 days ago. Usually there's this kind of concept of Occam's razor, which means the simplest explanation is generally the correct one. You often find that, like, it's very easy, especially when you're in the heat of the moment, the heat of a race, to overthink hints and think of, like, what's the absolute worst case possible. And then when it actually all unravels and you figure out what the path is, it's usually just something extremely simple. You're like, oh, well, I just routed myself into a corner here because I thought too much. I was too smart for the path hint, basically.
Yeah, you can obviously keep worst-case scenarios in mind and can think about them, but keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly.
Is the rule for
that. You would be surprised how often the seed is just, oh yeah, it's the simplest explanation.
Yep.
All right, so I think Sponge is going for a river play here. Very interesting.
I mean, kind of late for a river play for SGL settings.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you usually see people do it, like, pretty early on. It's kind of become the meta in these settings. So, interesting to see it happen. And we haven't seen Hell's go to river yet, so it's...
It's three more item checks, 3 more hints. Let's see what we get. And probably is going to just route that straight into Ice Cavern, honestly. Is my assumption. So, we are going to see... Sponge going upriver. Also, What the Hell's is done with Deku Tree. Goma didn't provide us anything more. So I would assume that's a Shadow Medallion for Sponge. I would assume that Sponge is now heading adult. Yep, playing Prelude and...
you mean Hells?
Sorry, yeah. Hells is now heading adult, playing Prelude and taking care of Dodongo's Cavern next. It is a required dungeon. Or rather, it's not a required dungeon, but it's a path dungeon. You know you want to be there. And even if you, even if you don't have it as a path, it is one of those density plays for early game. And
having that hook shot as you're going adult, without having to do another age change like Sponge have to do, might end up being extremely important. It gets you access to the Bolero song for sure. Gets you access to early forest. And if you don't have the strength, then it's definitely going to be something that you're thanking yourself for doing Deku as you stay child. So
Yeah, it's kind of, and
that's probably the earliest Ganon's boss yet.
that is your third copy of Ice Cavern to Bongo.
Is it that?
Yes.
That was really? Oh my god. Okay, well, Sponge going in the right direction then.
Indeed.
Yep, that's quite something, huh?
Yes, indeed.
We will get one more hint here, but yeah, Sponge should be making his way over here. Yeah, that's 4. Can we see another? Can we see 5? Can we see 5?
Do I hear 5? Do I hear 5?
Bro, please. Dude, a triple path in Ice Cavern in SGL settings would be the craziest thing I've ever seen in this game.
At that point, I'm switching drinks, honestly.
I know what you mean, man. But, yeah, we should see. So, there's plenty of things that can be in Ice Cavern. One thing that it will not be is magic, because we have another magic accessible in Jabu right now.
Yep.
So it could be strength. It could be first strength if Opponents is locked by it. We could see that play out. Maybe Opponents is on I don't know. Well, it's not going to be on OOT, but it could be locked in other ways. Another possibility is that it's just hovers and dins. That would be the simplest explanation here. But we'll have to see as Sponge is doing the glitchless King Zora skip, which is much harder than the glitched King Zora skip, but it is one that is legal under the standard rule set, so it's the one that everybody has to learn.
Exactly. To the point where even I had to do it. That being said, yeah, Hells is obviously headed up trail doing the Dongo's Cavern to get that path item out of there. And if you're in there, you're gonna finish it. GTG to Twin Rover.
Okay.
Yeah, second. Sponge is gonna be completionist here. He has Zelda's Lullaby. He's going to do all the checks he can in Zora's Fountain. Make this trip behind King Zora worth it.
It's another one of those where if you don't see a foolish hint for Zora's Fountain, you basically want to go there every single time. I mean, we know that Boomerang's there already, but still, clearing it out. Another one that's interesting is Zora's Domain, especially with the King Zora hint. That is 2 checks there that could very likely be an important item. So maybe if you want to get magic, if you have the Shadow Pack here, and then you get the Hookshot and Deku, you might just say, okay, let's just go Jabu, get the magic, and then let's hunt for Nocturne.
Let's go chat. Let's go see if we can't make our way into Shadow somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's 3 songs that are available here as adult. You've got the Ice Cavern song, you got Minuet, and you got Bolero.
Yeah.
Although in Sponge's case, unless he finds Bolero itself, he's not going to be able to get it on this trip, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, this is definitely an advantage for What the Hell's here, doing a bit more of a thorough Child 1.
Yep. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Sorry, we'll have to wait and see if that hook shot is really going to come into play in this adult too, or if it's not going to matter that much. What is unfortunate is there are some skulls here that you can only get with a hook shot. So this would be really good for skull routing if Sponge can find a hook shot.
That's a problem. Yeah.
You never know. The double path could be for long shot here. You never know. Maybe you get into GTG that way.
Potentially, yes. It can't be for long shot to finish Shadow Temple, because that's obviously a logical option to finish Shadow Temple aside from the bow, but we already have a bow.
Yeah.
But it can definitely be to get across Gerudo Valley. So we'll see. First item check coming up.
It all depends where the horse is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, as we've discussed, that horse is going to be very important later on because, I mean, even if we find Strength 1, we still need one of the strengths on HBA, right? We absolutely need it to clear Spirit Temple, which is one of our required dungeons.
Yep. So whatever we do, we definitely do need Epona, and I mean, someone in chat obviously is already calling for Epona on Burning Cack, because that's how chat do. We'll see.
It could happen, yep.
It's not that unlikely, but it's also not that likely. We'll definitely get more information with the next 2 song checks.
And we really don't need, honestly, all things considered, not really that much left for Burning Cack. I mean, we need another hook shot, we need irons. That's an item there. That's not. I didn't see what it was. One thing to consider that I didn't mention, the other path for Bongo could just be Nocturne here. That's magic? That's
not a path magic.
Is it?
That is not a path magic.
Is it?
No, the other magic is equally accessible with Voodoo Setter.
Yeah, but...
So final item in song.
So the final item in song... Oh my god, that's a loaded... Sponge is leaving?
What the heck?
Or maybe he's just setting this for Boomerang. He's probably just setting this for Boomerang, I'd have to imagine. I don't think he's leaving, yeah. Yeah, because I think this is the best spot to plop FW.
Yeah.
Until you get access to GTG, you really don't have a use of FW anywhere else. And as soon as you find Iron Boots, you can just come back here and get your Boomerang right away, which... As we're discussing, like, it could be relevant. The Boomerang could very easily be relevant given the song distribution in this seed.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that is determinedly, like, definitively not the path.
No, it can't be. It's the magic. The magic in Jabo is just as equally accessible with the same items.
Yeah. All right, you're going to see some glitchless jumps here from Sponge. First
Very
one
nice.
nailed. Yep. Jump slash here.
These glitchless jumps are quicker than doing it with ground jumps.
Yes, if you get it first try, if you get these strats first try, it is much quicker than getting the ground jump. Second one nailed it as well. And the third one, I say, was probably the easiest. Though the keys can mess you up depending, and they have a habit of getting in that corner, which can mess you up for the setup on the third jump. Unfortunately, can't get that skull here, but thankfully the keys played nice. Yeah, so unfortunately the strat there is to drop down during the cutscene, and failing that you don't have the angle, so the easiest thing to do is just get a ground jump there, which is what Sponge did.
Yeah, which is technically a glitch, one of the few glitches allowed in the standard OT randomizer rule set. Basically making use of a weird state that Link can get in if a bomb explodes while he's also trying to pick it up while shielding himself from the damage of the bomb. So this has to be a major item, and the song has... wait, what?
Huh, interesting.
I am confused.
Are we missing some logic here? Can we? Yeah, okay, so that's the second path. I get that, but maybe we misread the hint. Maybe that was not magic on the School of Stingers. I don't remember where that.
I mean
was.
it has to be.
Yeah.
Just a misread, basically.
Yeah. So at this point, I think Sponge is he's setting. Oh no, he's getting a skull here. Yeah, this is one of the only available skulls for him. I'd have to imagine going back Child and cleaning up the rest of the skulls is on his mind right now.
For sure.
Because at this point, like, you can't really do much with Nocturne, you can't really do much with Magic other than set up W. So the play really is go get, go get your K-Sword, go do Deku. Although you could go up DMT, get the songs that way. Though the longer you do stuff that isn't getting skulls, the more the more boned you are, basically, because you're not getting the shot. It does look like Sponge is opting to stay adult here, though. So likely his only real option at this point is to go up DMT and get the two adult songs that are still available to him. Although I have to imagine, is this faster than just playing Nocturne? Or no, is he going Forest? Okay, this is an option as well. This is an unfortunate little hike here, but I guess it is about the same amount of time as going up DMT. And with Foolish Goron City, like, other than doing DMC check, excuse me, there's really not that much. What's up? It was... Oh.
That's spicy meatball. Equally important.
Yes. So, hey, by the way, congratulations to fellow Ooter player
Audraxis, right?
Audraxis, yeah, getting the win in SM Rando. Congratulations. Yeah.
I think that was finals actually, and that's his third strength upgrade.
That's the third strength. Where was it?
Biggest fish. That was adult fishing.
Adult fishing. Oh my god! And House can get that right now.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's really important. He's going to be able to do Forest right now.
Sure.
Yeah, it's in Logic. It's available.
He just needs to get there, which is kind of annoying at this point.
Well, he has Serenade. He's fine.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yep. So I'd have to imagine here. Yeah, this is Foolish here. But you need to do this in order to get to DM Crater, which can definitely have required items. Dark Link is blue key and
Nothing.
small key. Okay.
We don't care about that.
Small key is important to note, but that's just for water routing. If we end up in water in the seed, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I mean at that point we did end up with Epona on Burning Cack.
Yep.
So let's see. Let's hope that that's not the case. I couldn't see a dang thing on what's on the volcano.
Bombs.
Okay, cool. We don't care.
Yeah. VCIs, man.
And there's Minuet. Okay,
Yeah,
great
all right.
mobility upgrade for What the Hells, and that is
Beautiful.
the third bottle for Sponge.
That is going, if Sponge, I mean, assuming he's going Crater, that does actually pay out for him a little bit. Getting back to Deku is going to be a lot simpler for him than having to hike. He did have to do a hike as adult, though, so not exactly the best thing in the world, but it will work out eventually for his routing.
Yeah, that's true. All right, it's going to be interesting to see where these two converge again, because at the moment, obviously, they've taken pretty different paths through the seed, but that is likely to change. They will likely tread each other's footsteps for a bit in a moment, and will then converge, and then we will have more of an overview of where they stand in relation to being ahead, basically.
We're going to see another hint here. I'm very curious to see what this one is. Yeah, okay, there you go. It's confirmation. Mirror Shield. So we absolutely have to go into Jabu. However, we do not need the Boomerang for that Mirror Shield.
To note, what is our path to Twin Rover in GTG?
That's a very good question.
Thank you, sir.
It's a very good question. Probably the only thing that can really come into play at this point is either Long Shot, depending on the key logic, or a Fire Source, also dependent on the key logic. It's very possible that the path in GTG is entirely bait. And that's going to be kind of annoying because you need to go to that area to get that strength anyway to access Adult Spirit, right? So you're going to be tempted to go into GTG. And if GTG just has nothing other than, just something for key logic and spirit, that's going to be a lot of time waste that maybe these guys can meta themselves away from.
I mean, we have seen the lore about Spirit Temple at this point. We know where Mirror Shield is. It's in Jabu Stingers. We know where 2 strength upgrades are. We know where 3 strength upgrades. Where all 3 strength upgrades are. And we have a hookshot. We have a bow.
Yeah. Or could just be for getting the horse, right? It could be an item in GTG that locks a song, right?
Ew.
Yeah. That would be pretty bad. I'm pretty sure that was brought up by Twitch chat earlier, and I said, lol, Twitch chat, they come up with the craziest things, right? And now here I'm saying, like, yeah, that's totally what could happen to this seed. It's totally a thing.
Let's not pretend that we did.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so this is going to be the strength upgrade. I'd have to imagine.
Did you see that hint?
Yeah.
For those who weren't here earlier and didn't see it before, that is a beauty of a hint, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a wonderful hint to get. So Hells is getting his strength upgrade here. With Minuet, you gotta imagine he's going Forest, right? Like, there's nothing else that you'd rather be doing than doing Forest Temple for 15 minutes. Woo!
Yeah!
Forest Temple, yeah.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. It is a 15-minute linear slog, but it needs to be done.
Yep. And I think almost every racer I talk to cites this. Forest Temple may seem like it's just a mindless 15-minute, like, just, I don't want to do this. If you're in a point of the seed where you really need to think, you need to step back and take a moment to think about things, think things through, talk things out with yourself, rubber ducky as we call it in programming. Yeah. Forest Temple is the best rubber ducky that this game has because you're just doing anything but thinking about your execution. You can think about anything else.
Yeah, you're autopiloting this thing for the next 15 minutes, and meanwhile, your brain can do that's a
shot.
What? Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So what in the world is it? That has to be a fire source at this point.
It has to be a fire source in GTG. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, if it's Dins, that's very important. If it's fire arrows, that sucks. That sucks, bro.
So I think what you do is you run straight past GTG, or you drop Furor's Wind in GTG, and then once you are done Spirit and haven't got your fire source yet, you come back.
Right. So one thing to keep in mind, though, if it ends up being a fire source, well, we know it's going to be a fire source in GTG at this point, unless we're severely misreading this, talking this out between amongst ourselves. if it is fire arrows, you can still narrow down where Din's is based on that fire arrows. Because if Din's were just available, then the fire arrows wouldn't be path. So obviously Din's is going to be important. It could just be something as simple as, Din's is in spirit, locked behind key logic. But it could be that Din's is somewhere else that's fire locked, I think we saw a Wasteland hint, so not going to be there.
We haven't seen a Shadow 2 hint.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Shadow 2 hint. It's not going to be Shadow 2, though, because...
oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's,
so,
dungeon layout.
More than likely, Din's is in one of GTG or Spirit, I think, is the way you have to look at it.
Yeah. And, again, I think at this point you run past GTG and hope for the best.
Exactly, yeah. I mean... The horse becomes ever more important at this point because we have to think about where it's not a minuet check. We saw that. We saw the Song of Time. So what does that leave us with? It's not going to be an Ocarina of Time.
We have seen Bolero. That was minuet.
It was minuet. So what do we have? We have it's either Burning Cack, Prelude, maybe Desert Colossus, maybe. It's hard to say, though, without the knowing the logic for crossing. Haven't seen a lens yet. We do have long shot, though, which means that much. So, actually, at this point, you kind of have to imagine that you kind of don't care about the lens. Like, you can cross logically other than the lens at this point. So, maybe that's your play if you want to, farm for Eponas, get those 2 strength upgrades, and then never think about it again, right?
Here's hoping.
And you do have to go to GTG anyway. So if you're Sponge, you kind of have to think about, do I drop my FW in Ice Cavern and do it in GTG instead? Do I drop it in Colossus and Spirit Temple and just come back when I get the strength upgrades? It's a lot of weird routing choices that you're going to have to make that I'm not sure how it's going to play out.
I think if you make it to Spirit Temple and you don't have Requiem and don't get Requiem from the Requiem song check, you're probably just
you basically. Temple. I mean, you could argue that maybe Rec is along the way anyway, and you'll eventually get it. But I feel like that's a risk that these guys probably aren't willing to take.
Nah, the risk reward there it just isn't there.
I'm very interested to see what's in Domain here, by the way. As I mentioned earlier, it was not hinted foolish, and we know what King's Aura is. It's nothing. So you'd have to imagine that one of these 2 checks is going to be important. So it'll be very important to pay attention to Sponge. As What the Hells does our favorite temple, Forest. 15 minutes long. Yeah, Forest Temple. Woo!
Yep, and we'll see, as you said, for early Forest is kind of loaded. We have loaded with items often. We have now passed that point. We are now in the middle of Forest.
Yeah. I think, honestly, even this part is kind of nice, but once you get past the block push room, then it really just kind of slows to a crawl.
Yep, but it needs to be done, and this looks to be a 2-diver, actually, for Sponge here. Never mind, it's a 3-diver.
Yeah. But at this point, you'd have to imagine, Sponge is definitely planning to just go into Jabu. Probably you want to set FW there. You never know if you have to come back, especially with Forest Men being on Jabu. So I have to imagine this is just... and also you get a couple of skulls this way. So, yep, there you go. There's a big chest in Domain, which very much means that the foolish hint logic works out. You can reason things out, and there is something not necessarily required, but major in Zora's Domain.
To be honest, I hadn't thought of that meta before, the way you explained it this time, and
it's lens. We can cross.
Yeah,
we can cross. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
We can cross.
How could we have ever done that without the lens?
But yeah, that's very important because it puts crossing into logic, which means it might be something that we need to do in this seed. It could work out that it's just entirely expected of the seed. Could also work out that you need Requiem on Jabu for Child Spirit anyway. Who knows?
Or maybe Diving Game was the actual important item. No. Lens is the one important item here.
And of course, Market being foolish means that Lens minigame isn't going to be anything. So that Lens is entirely just for crossing logic.
Okay.
At this point, I'd like to say to you, Tobias, my co-commentator,
listening,
happy 1 hour.
Happy 1 hour.
Happy 1 hour. Shout out to everyone watching here live at Speedgaming Live 2023. How you guys doing? You having a fun
Having a great
viewing
time?
experience. You guys enjoying this? So yeah.
Awesome.
Happy 1 hour. Yes.
And shout outs also to our amazing trackers. We have Starlight Dancers on our right, and we have One Traveler on our left, keeping us up to date on what our runners have and don't.
And I'd like to give a special shout out to the organizers of the tournament this year. Star, and Tobias has been helping out with the organization as well.
I mean, I've been helping out, but Star and Death Star are the major ones, and also Mera in chat, the third co-organizer for this tournament. Unfortunately, couldn't be here,
but has still been helping out as much as they can.
A ton.
Yes. This tournament wouldn't be what it is without the people organizing it, the ones who are sacrificing their own personal time while we're out here just partying and having fun, hanging out. They're putting in the real work to make sure that the tournament experience is as good as it can be, and we cannot thank them enough.
And also, while we're thanking people, shout-outs also to Speedgaming staff here at this event who are bending over backwards in many cases to make as many restreams of our favorite games happen as possible, and also who have been bending over backwards, for example, to make even non-restreamed races watchable for the entire crowd here. For example, like the play-in race that happened yesterday evening for this bracket stage.
Exactly. Yes. I think we can spend a little bit of time talking about what the bracket picture is right now.
Let's do it.
So, to start out, we had 5 groups of 4 people each, and that was a round robin that we did the first 2 days, where 2 people from every group made it out into the bracket stage. The 2 best finishers in the bracket stage, or the group stage, made it into bracket. From there, we had 4 first rounds and 4 buys. So we had 4 matches. Those are all done now. This right here is the last of the
second round
matches that happened. So earlier today, so let's just go through from the top. We had Mr. Mario versus Mr. Martin. Mr. Mario came out on top. Decker versus Rock Chalk. Decker came out on top. What the Hells versus myself. You saw that earlier on the restream.
Condolences.
And you take a guess who won that one based on who's in the commentary booth and who's on stage right now. And then, of course, Drunis over Kasinja. From that, we had Exodus actually falling to Mr. Mario. That was quite an interesting race from what I heard. It was off stream. You just saw on the channel earlier Kawari versus Decker, where Kawari came out on top. So Mr. Mario versus Kawari is our first semifinal match for tomorrow. Obviously, we got Sponge versus Hells right now. Winner of that is going to go against Drunis, who took it over Ela in the quarterfinal match. So those are your 3 of the 4 semifinalists are Kawari, Mr. Mario, and Drunis. And whoever wins this race between Sponge and What the Hell's Happened. At this point, Sponge is continuing to do a couple more. I mean, he's just doing this just progression in Jabu as much as he can, and he's just going to set up W here and peace out. I don't know what his skull count is, but you'd have to imagine, like, he has to go get the K-Sword. Like, you gotta go get that as soon as you can. Hells has been making progression in Forest, making it look like a breeze.
Yeah,
he's almost done, honestly. Yeah.
Pushing 20 skulls in Child 1 really has paid off for Hells in spades. There's no other way to put it.
The only thing I think that Sponge has the advantage on right now is that he's done Ice Cavern. He has magic. Having FW is very, very powerful to the point where he said it both as child as adult in very interesting spots. Depending on how the seed plays out, it's a no-brainer how he's been doing it so far. But at this point, I think he is wrapping up. He wouldn't be going to CAC if he wasn't ready for 20 skulls. So we'll have to see that, and then he'll play Minuet, go do Deku, get his hook shot, and then I'd have to imagine he'll hopefully get his strength on fishing, and we'll see another round of Forest Temple while Hells does something new.
For sure. Speaking of something new, there is something new in a big chest in here, and it is just a wallet. Okay, well.
Come on.
Well, we already have a Goron tunic, so that wallet gives us exactly nothing except the certainty that that Goron tunic is in no way, shape, or form ever going to be passed.
So I made a mistake here. Sponge did not actually go to Crater. He doesn't have the hook shot, so he wasn't able to get Minuet, so he has to hike across field one last time. With that, I will take a second to use the washroom, so I'll let you do solo comms for just a little bit.
Oh, no. I am being abandoned, chat. All right, see you in a bit, James. Here we go. We have Sponge continuing in Forest Temple. Obviously, that is almost done, as we already talked about. Slight correction for Jamie as well, as Dastar points out. It was 6 groups of 4 people in the earlier group stage of this tournament, and yeah, whittled down now to 3 semifinalists already standing, and the 4th semifinalist being determined in this very race. We are also... so, just a quick recap. We had maybe the most hilarious double horseback archery hint that I've ever seen, which is that horseback archery 1000 is a strength upgrade, while horseback archery 1500 is a strength upgrade. We also know that the 3rd strength upgrade, which What the Hells has already picked up, is on the biggest fish as adult, so that is adult fishing, which we got from another duel sometime since. This seed has a lot of powerful single item or single check hints. We also know that Under the Icy Waters is a boomerang waiting for us to be picked up if we need it. We knew that School of Stingers inside Jabu is a mirror shield, and Sponge obviously has already picked that one up. Hells is still waiting on that, has done other things. And we know that... Ice Cavern is double path to Bongo, which was Magic and Nocturne. One of those path hints, one of those plentiful path hints, Ice Cavern to Bongo, has just been picked up by Sponge. Yeah, Frox 2 is Slingshot. Oh well. Other than that, as I already alluded to earlier, What the Hell's going for 20 skulls in his Child 1 is paying dividends for him. He was able to do Deku Tree, which Sponge is currently making his way through early on. He parlayed that into finding both the hook shot in Deku Tree, which Sponge is about to pick up, as well as the long shot earlier on top of the lab. And has now is basically an entire forest temple. I'm not going to say an entire forest temple ahead, because Sponge obviously has done Ice Cavern already, which What the Hell still definitely needs to do. But he has done. He is fighting Phantom Ganon right now, the 2nd of the required bosses in this game. What else did What the Hell's Happened find? Dastar. Yes. OOT segue we do not know yet, and it is not hinted. It's not an always hint in Speedgaming Live Seconds, because OOT is obviously a required, or is an easy pickup with 3 stones being required to spawn the Rainbow Bridge. But we are still missing Epona, which is kind of becoming concerning. Epona can be on the Ocarina of Time. Epona can be on Burning Cack, which is this version of the this settings version of the All Dungeons hint. If you find Epona on Burning Cack, you know for sure and for certain that you are absolutely doing all dungeons in this seed. Because obviously you need 2 strength upgrades to beat Spirit Temple. Yeah, hey, welcome back, Jamie. You didn't miss anything major. What the Hell's is done with Forest Temple. Meanwhile, Sponge is almost done with Deku. Also, by the way, we know that... I was recapping the seed earlier. So we also know that Gerudo Training Ground is path to Twin Rova, but we have a mirror shield already, or we know where one is. We have 2 strength upgrades that we know the location of all 3 strength upgrades, and they're accessible, obviously. We have a bow, we have a hook shot. It can only be for a fire source, which is interesting because there's 2 fire sources in this game. It's either fire arrows or Din's Fire. Din's Fire we evidently need for Shadow But
Yeah,
but
so-
the play obviously will be to run past GTG mostly and just
Basically, yeah.
focus on Spirit Temple first.
Certainly, yeah. You can narrow down where Dins is pretty specifically, based on what the GTG path at this point.
Also, I completely, while recapping, spaced on the fact that What the Hell's just picked up Din's Fire in Forest Temple.
Oh, Dins is in Forest?
Well, shoot. Wait.
What?
I am confused.
I am
again.
confusion.
Again.
Oh my God, Tobias. We forgot about Child Spirit.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have a slingshot already.
No, getting there though. Where's Rec? Where's Requiem? Yeah. That's what I want to see. Yeah. Can you believe it? It's come down to this. So what's it going to be then? Is it logical AD?
It's at least logical AD. It might be real AD.
No. It could be Iron Boots. It could be exactly what Tofile was saying earlier, which is just Iron Boots and GTG to get the Rang and then
for
Rex
Boomerang.
on Prelude.
Yeah. For Boomerang, for Requiem on Prelude. But yeah, it is concerning to say the least.
Not necessarily confirmed, though, at least from an execution standpoint, because the logic does not necessarily strictly dictate what you need to do, right? It could just be 2 small keys on child side, but you have another small key on the adult side, and then boss key is just somewhere else, and all it is just the
as soon as you have a small key on child side, obviously it's going to be logically required to pick up that Requiem.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it all depends on the key layout in Spirit.
It is concerning in
So
any case.
What the Hells just saw that Ice Cavern hint.
Yeah,
and I think he's
both eyebrows went way up his forehead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I also saw while Sponge was finishing up Deku there. I did see him like having a conversation with himself. So I think he's really deep in the weeds, thinking about how he wants to do the rest of this seed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So one thing while I took my bathroom break, I did take a peek at the hockey scores. Your Toronto Maple Leafs are up 5-2 over the Vancouver Canucks right now, and I think that's the most important news of the night.
If you say so.
Meanwhile, the Montreal Canadiens are losing 1-0, which I normally would say is good news, except they're losing against the Boston Bruins, who I hate even more. So I'm actually sad about that.
I have no stakes in NHL hockey. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the me race versus What the Hells, where we had we even planned out the commentary so that we had Zephyr, another Habs fan, and Decker, who is a Leafs fan. So even the commentary was on one side versus the other.
Oh dang! Okay. And here's Sponge getting the information about his 3rd strength upgrade.
Yep. And again, getting just talking with himself, just trying to piece it together, figure out how he's going to route this. But I think he's still going to get Minuet, so we should see Sponge going into Forest quite soon, and we're going to see What the Hell's double back getting that Mirror Shield. After that, I'd have to imagine Hell's next play, it's either Ice Cavern or Crossing, right? Like it has
I would
to be one
assume
of those
Ice
two,
Cavern.
yeah.
You know, double path Ice Cavern, you are not leaving that behind.
Yeah, and I'd have to imagine if Sponge routes in that strength upgrade. Wait, didn't it say Hookshot as well? Or no, that was the fishing hit. It was not the adult lake hit.
Exactly.
So there is a chance that Sponge just completely puts off that long shot. And if you're not going back to lake specifically to go to GGG, routing that in is going to be very difficult and could be quite detrimental. So we'll have to see how Sponge routes in adult lake.
I would also like to shout out Alisoon in chat, saying that they checked their fortune cookie and it said nobody cares
Yeah,
about
it says
hockey.
the guy who lives in Arizona, yeah? How's
Yeah.
that mullet arena seating 5,000 there, bud? I'm ready to throw hands here.
Evidently. Again, I have no stakes in NHL hockey, but I do follow the Kölner Haie, the Cologne Sharks from Germany.
Dude,
so
those jerseys are wild. They're just loaded in advertisements. They look like race car drivers. It's amazing. I love it.
well, at least our arenas aren't as loaded in advertisement
Well,
as yours.
no, see, that's the thing, though, is we've been talking with there's a couple of other people from Germany who are in attendance for Uter. And what they've said consistently, and Hells has actually, like, corroborated this, Europe has the crowd meta figured out so much better than NA does. Like, they have, like, one side for each, each team. You got, like, specific chants. People start chants. In America, like, people are boring. People just talk amongst themselves. In Europe, it's a whole routine. Like, you have a plan. You have a game plan going into it. Like, we got to catch up in that sense.
It is also, like, in Europe, you have literally, like, the fans competing for basically shouting the other team's fans down. In a friendly way, but it's a friendly competition between the two opposing fans.
You end up getting that dynamic where you have callback chants as well, which is really funny, where you have people just one chant. Lake Hylia Pat the Bongo. I don't know if we saw that.
We have not.
Yeah. All right. That's
for what? Oh, for the long shot.
For the long shot. Yeah.
Okay. For maybe crossing.
No, the strength. It could be the strength if it locks the other two.
No. It can't be the strength because it's sometimes hinted. Unless
there's an item in Shadow that locks opponents somehow. Maybe. No, it's probably just crossing.
It has to be crossing, honestly.
Yeah, to get hovers, I guess. Because that magic could come into play for crossing to get hovers in Spirit, or even just Colossus itself.
We'll see. I'm losing my grasp on the seat's logic at the moment. So,
but it's something that these two, I'm sure, are they're probably wrestling their brains a little bit, but they are the best in the business. So definitely, they've got a firm handle on how they want to route this and where they want to be going. Sponge obviously will be going to Forest quite soon. Very important though. We need to check if he checks lab dive or if he puts it off, because that is the long shot.
No, top of lab.
I said lab. See, I meant the other lab one. Too many labs in this game. I need to spend more time in the lab, clearly. Judging by the result earlier,
Yeah.
Just how it is.
Your lab is called GZ Incorporated?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
Shoutouts to my main man, Glank.
Indeed. All right. Sponge about to pick up his first strength upgrade is going, as you said, is very likely to be headed into Forest Temple. And meanwhile, what the hell is a bit is retracing Sponge's steps here. Is heading into Jabu, grabbing his mirror shield, and then we'll see how far he continues. I mean, he's gonna.
Yeah. Okay. So he's skipping long shot, huh?
Oh,
that may bite him.
That might very well bite him.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Maybe he reps that in later. But what else can you do, right? Like, there's not too much left after Forest.
No. I think you hope that Longshot doesn't come into it at some point, like logically.
I guess you could go into Shadow, right? Do the first couple checks there, but other than that, yeah.
And Sponge is never getting that hint though. Like he straight ran past the hint stones in Zora's Fountain, or at least past the hint stone in Zora's Fountain on the left.
Yeah. And that's right, it can't be the strength because it's hinted, right? So it has to be long shot.
Yeah, it has to be the long shot. So logically, long shot required for crossing. We're not getting Epona until late in this seed, which is concerning. No, the long shot is not hinted. It is hinted as it is likely hinted as a path item. But what we were talking about is that the strength upgrade in Lake Hylia cannot be our path item because it is directly hinted. It is hinted as using a sometimes hint as being located on adult fishing. So that is for sure not going to be the path item in this case. Let's see what the hell is going. Adult is.
I have to imagine he's crossing.
I'm going to say he will head up River to Ice Cavern first because it is double path hinted to Bongo. You want that.
I forgot that he hadn't done that yet. So this is going to allow Sponge for a little bit of execution, but it certainly seems like at this point Hells is just strictly ahead, right?
I would agree.
Yeah.
Hells parlayed that thoroughness in Child 1 into a lot of advantage here.
That long shot certainly might bite Sponge. as well as it just feels like Hells has, you know, he's all set up to cross, right? Like, that's what we need to be doing in this seed. So
Yep.
Point, yeah, we're just gonna have to watch them double back. So
Yeah.
at this point, I have to imagine. So, like, what are the possible ways that this can play out? Because you need the horse. We know that you need the horse.
So
If it's not in Requiem, or if it's not on Requiem check, you need to clear Jabu, 100%.
yeah, and you hope you don't also need to clear Water Temple on top of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, like, if you get Iron Boots specifically for the boomerang, like, you have everything to clear water. So it's a time sink, but I mean, it's not like you're searching for anything else. So it's not the most miserable thing in the world. It's just you have to play more of the video game. Oh no.
Yeah. That being said, potentially, the second possibility is not just so the horse is our only concern. As you said, Requiem is our other concern for Child Spirit. If Child Spirit is hard required in some way, for example, there's a boss key in there, then yeah, where can Requiem be? Requiem can be like Epona, basically can be on Prelude or on Burning Cack.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
Burning Cack, there are 2 always hints for out there somewhere.
True, which we have not seen yet.
No.
Very important. Did we see the fountain hint here? I don't know if we
We
did.
have seen the right side fountain hint, and Hells earlier also showed us the left side fountain hint. So yes, we have seen both of these hints.
Is the knock hint just like both back of lake? Like, what's going on here?
It's a really good question. Back of lake, or maybe one is in Colossus.
Yeah, Colossus is another possibility for that.
But I think, if I recall correctly, the randomizer also has hint logic, so that
At least one of them has to be available.
Yeah, and it needs to be available without having Nocturne.
I believe it's
Or
at
the
least
Nocturne check.
it's at least one copy has to be
Yeah.
available. One of them can be locked behind it, which is fundamentally different from the better Zelda 64 randomizer, Majora's Mask Randa, where both hints need to be available. But you know, that's neither here nor there. Maybe it'll be there next year. We'll see.
This man's huffing a lot of copium right now.
It's true. Just give it to me. Oh yes, that's what I need. I got Zoe on speed dial right now. We'll make something happen. We'll make something work. Yes, at this point, I really think it's just going to end up being that we're going to need to find Iron Boots for that rang. It really feels like it's going to have to play out. So, because like, the only possible out is if Rec is not hard required and the horse is on Desert Colossus. That's the only way this is going to work out in a way that we don't need the rang.
Yeah, that's a pretty big if at this point. Earlier on, also, we kind of agreed that, I mean, before we found Dins, we kind of agreed that GTG has to be Path to Twin Rova for a fire source. Obviously, that doesn't come into play anymore. This has to be Path to Twin Rova for either Epona or for Requiem.
Yeah, so I guess is it just Iron Boots in GTG? Is that all it is?
Quite possibly.
Yeah, it feels like it kind of has to be that. Because, like, it could also be... It's Path to Twin Rover, right? So,
yeah.
like, maybe we're looking at it... Maybe it's not Rec specifically, but it's actually Epona's to get the strength in order to do it. It could also be that.
Quick note to KLO in chat, these path hints aren't up to date. They are not for this seed.
I think what we can say for sure is we have GTG's Path to Twin Rova.
Yeah, we have double Ice Cavern to Bongo.
We have Lake Hylia to Bongo. And something to Phantom Ganon. DC to Phantom Ganon.
Yeah, you're right. DC to Phantom Ganon. We have seen all 5 path hints. 3 path hints to Bongo. 2 of them in Ice Cavern, 1 in Lake. Woof.
Yeah. Woof indeed. This is the seed that really makes you go, woof, woof, I'm a dog. Am I right? Am I right, gamers?
I don't know if that's how I'd put it, but you know, you're also not wrong.
Yeah.
How can you say something yet so controversial yet so brave?
So brave. But yeah, at this point, we're thinking about how this plays out in the end. We really aren't going to have that many answers until we see Hell's Cross, which I'd have to imagine he does right after Ice.
Yeah. So again, so what I was getting at earlier, obviously we've been discussing about skipping GTG at this point because obviously you have your entire Shadow kit.
You don't have hovers.
Sorry, you have your entire Spirit kit.
Spirit kit, yes.
Yeah.
No,
you don't have hovers.
You don't have opponents to get the strength.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem.
I think you set FW in GTG. No. Do you want to set FW in GTG and then cross and then work back and then maybe cross again? Or do you skip GTG, set FW in Spirit, and then reverse back to GTG?
I think that's the play.
Yeah, and like if you get opponents, then there you go. There's a strength, and you just go right back. You don't know if you're ever getting like. There's a possibility that you just never get Requiem in this seed, right? So at that point, setting FW in Spirit, like you're gonna have to double back through the Wasteland at least once. So it just depends on like what you think is the more efficient option there. I think this is Din's, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Again, I completely missed that as I was recapping the seed here.
Yeah.
My bad. Anyway.
Yeah. So Hell's about to wrap up Ice Cavern here. Sponge, I'd say, has about 5 or 6 minutes left in Forest. So I'm really curious to see where Sponge goes after this because I don't know exactly what he has left. Other than just going back to Lake and getting that long shot. I'm sure he has other things that he's put off and he still has yet to do. That's all.
Probably scatter child checks somewhere.
Yeah, child cleanup does make a lot of sense, but I think he had a pretty thorough child to the point where there's not a lot left. We'll have to see. All right.
So here's a double path Ice Cavern resolved by Nocturne and Magic.
I think Hells is going to do the first 2 checks in Shadow, which I think is a fair play to do. At this point.
You're not losing any time by doing it, honestly. Burning Cactus Bolero.
Okay, there you go. So we still might need the Boomerang, but we know that we don't have to clear Water Temple. But at that point, like, again, like I'm saying, like, you still have to look for Iron Boots. At this point, we can effectively look at Iron Boots as the Boomerang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one little bit, I didn't see if Hell's set FW in Ice Cavern. But Sponge definitely did, which may be a little bit of time save for him later on. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it works out.
We shall. But first of all, let's see if these first 2 checks in Shadow Temple actually give us anything.
Yeah.
Random settings league players obviously like to skip them.
Did he just skip the map chest? Yeah, he just realized it went back.
Wait a second. Yeah.
Season 4 champion. SGL,
what the hell's happened? Yeah.
SGL 2019 champion. So you know that we all have our moments. Even the very best of us.
Yep, and KLO in chat still hasn't caught on to the fact that these hints in the that Nightbot provides you are entirely wrong, entirely for another seed. Nightbot has not been updated for this race. Please ignore Nightbot. Thank you.
This is that awkward moment where we find out that KLO has been watching with comms muted. And we're just like, oh, okay. Okay, I guess.
Nah, then he wouldn't ask me to help understand him. Help him understand.
Okay.
So.
At this point, though, I would highly encourage. Tobias is fine, but hey, if you want to mute me, like that's totally fine.
Yo, sound booth.
Yeah. Get this guy off the mic.
Exactly. Anyway, first check in Shadow wasn't a thing.
It was not a thing. Also a key, so you need to go back here, but that's going to do it for this short little trip into Shadow.
Oh well.
Yep. All right, playing Serenade there. He is going to cross. He will be making his way to GTG and beyond.
Mm-hmm. So, once more for those who joined us later, our path hints. So the Ice Cavern double path to Bongo, Lake Hylia path to Bongo, Dodongo's Cavern path to Phantom Ganon, and GTG to Twin Rova.
Which the only one that has not been resolved at this point is the GTG path to Twin Rova hint. We know why the 2 Ice Cavern hits our path. We know that Lake Hylia's path for the long shot across here, which means Epona's does have to be locked in some way. It could just be in Requiem, on Requiem Check and Colossus.
That would be the kindest option the seed has to offer us.
Yes, the kindest option the seed can give us is Epona's on Desert Colossus song and only soft required child GGG.
That would be, yeah. I mean, it has to be at least logically required at this point. That is the only way that the hints make sense.
Yep.
So more hints, by the way. Hey, KLO, if you're ready for more hints, we had a double strength upgrade on Horseback Archery 1000 and 1500. The third strength upgrade was also hinted on Adult Fishing. So those aren't path items. We also had hinted our gosh, what was the other thing? Yes, a boomerang in Icy Waters.
Sorry, what the hell just targeted that scrub like 5 times before he got the item? That was so funny.
Yep. Mechanics. Game mechanics.
Yeah.
They exist. Good grief. KLO, you're just getting it in text in a moment.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
It's the Great Pumpkin!
So, other than that, we also had Mirror Shield hinted on Stingers, so we had useful, sometimes and always hints, plenty this seed.
Yep.
That, by the way, that was your Mirror Shield.
Sponge gonna get the 1 cycle.
Ah, yes he is. Oh, what a gamer!
Yeah. What a guy.
So what he just did is get Phantom Ganon stuck behind the railing and basically stun locked in such a way that he can immediately kill him without ever having to get that second cycle going.
The specific
really
mechanics of it is that normally Phantom Ganon is invulnerable until you stun him by hitting back his light beam. However, if you swing the sword, he will, if you shoot the bow, he will do this animation where he swings his staff, and then that small period of time, he is vulnerable by a sword. So you continuously shoot arrows to get him to swing his little staff, and then you hit him during that period, and you just stun lock him that way.
Yep. And it is finicky. It's pretty. You need to practice this strat. It is doable, but it's not something I could do just offhand. All right, what the hell's about to do as we expected and cross the Gerudo Valley? Gonna take a peek at the Hammerrocks chest,
which we cannot see here. Yeah, okay, it's nothing.
It's small chest.
If it was big, you'd be able to see it. All right, so it's gonna turn nighttime here. It doesn't really matter because you don't have the horse yet, but we will probably. It's very interesting here. Like, I'm very curious to see if he goes into GGG. If he's worked out that maybe it's just soft required. It's really possible that it's just Iron Boots here. Like, I'd have to imagine, like, what else could it be at this point? There's not really much else locking our songs, so...
Yeah, I think Iron Boots are basically the only item that we're looking at here.
That's to the point where, like, yeah, it may end up being that you don't even need to go to GGG at all. Alright, we're getting...
Again, we definitely need Epona.
Yeah. We're getting Sponge doing the 2 shadow checks. After this, if I don't see him playing Serenade, if I'm a Salty Sponge fan, I'm sweating.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Because at this point, Hells is strictly ahead on progression, and depending on how the seed plays out, there could still be some trolliness that will allow him to catch up, but yeah, he is going into GGG. He may just be doing this to set FW just in case. And also, if you get Epona's in Spirit, you can just FW back here. But it does look like he's doing checks here. So maybe we'll see if we can find those Iron Boots. I'm not sure what else it could be. There may also just be hovers here, right? Like, if you don't get Epona's, you may just be in a situation where, like, you're still looking for hovers and they just might have to end up being in GGG anyway. Like, there's not a lot of locations left, right?
Yeah, if you find hovers here, obviously go back into Shadow Temple and hope to find, or expect to find your Iron Boots there. Let's see what this is. This could very well be what we're looking for.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Jamie, please. It's getting too obvious.
Yeah, but Hells will be setting FW here. Most importantly, though, Sponge still in it. Getting the long shot here. He doesn't really have much else at all.
Yeah, that's for him basically the literal last occasion to find this long shot.
Yeah.
But he is still in it. He has that just in time basically. And if he heads to GTG straight away after this, he's in a good shape.
Yeah. What Sponge needs to hope for here is that there's some garbage waiting with the Iron Boots here at this point, because if we need Requiem and it's not immediately obvious that we need Requiem, then there is some potential to catch up. But right now it's looking very good for Hells to take this seed, take the win, and get a spot in the Sunday top 4.
I don't disagree. As you said, What the Hells is strictly head on progression. He has that those hover boots out of GTG that Sponge definitely. I mean, he's on the way. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
But he's several minutes behind at this point.
Yeah.
And you would expect What the Hells to find Iron Boots somewhere in this dungeon, or something like it. We'll see. Maybe.
Like it, yeah. I mean, at this point, like Hovers doesn't really do much in terms of like actually getting through Spirit, so it would have to be Iron Boots or something somewhere. And for all we know, the Hovers could just be a nice little happy accident, right? It could just be Irons and GTG still, and depending on maybe Sponge decides to go a little bit deeper than GTG. I don't think that's the correct play, but it could be. If maybe he's feeling behind, maybe that might be something he might want to do, to maybe gamble on the fact that maybe Iron Boots are hard required to get that boomerang. And most importantly, if the boomerang is hard required, Sponge is in a bit of a better spot there because he has FW set in Ice Cavern, which means he'll be able to work there right away as soon as he gets the Iron Boots, get the boomerang, and he's right back into Jabu as soon as he goes back Child, where he also has FW set as a Child.
Ferora's Wind come in and clutch this seed, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how smart you can be, you can save literal minutes with FW just by being clever about it.
So, at the moment though, we're going to watch a little bit of linear progression here. Both of them are going to just strictly be doing Shadow Temple for a little bit. Yeah, that's just the reality of things. After that, though, all bets are off. I think you just cross here. I think there's little else to do, and you hope and pray to whatever deity you believe in that there's just Epona waiting for you in Desert Colossus.
You hope that we know it's going to be an orange song in Colossus, and you hope that music note is not upside down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might be in a hunt for Iron Boots. But at that point, is Iron Boots just our go mode? I believe so.
Yes,
yeah.
You are correct. Yes, they are. But at this point, yeah, you are looking for Iron Boots to find or to get your boomerang, honestly. And we have that path hint in that is pointing us at GTG to Enrova. Yeah. Obviously, it can be the hover boots.
Yes.
It can also be just that the next chest over would have been the Iron Boots.
Very interestingly here, Sponge is going right side first. So we are going to see a couple checks that we did not see on Hell's side, and this could potentially play out in Sponge's favor. Because, like, you get Iron Boots, do you just leave? Do you just bail once you get the hover boots and just cross? And then you still have to go back to GTG, or you have to go back to Fortress, that is, to get the strengths. So, you know, maybe you do that because you know you're getting or you hope that you're getting Requiem. I don't know how this plays out, honestly.
Honestly, good question. So, yeah, the other two songs, because Tiger and the Air in chat is asking why would we need Boomerang? Well, Boomerang locks our other two songs, right?
Yes.
We
Just in Maze. Sorry.
Oh yeah, interesting. So
Sorry,
we
continue.
have the Boomerang locking the Prelude song. We know by now that Burning Cack is Bolero of Fire. So at this point, we are looking for Epona. We're looking for Requiem. And I mean, Storms is probably on OOT at this point. I would wager.
I would hope so at this point. I completely blanked on the fact that we're missing Storms, to be honest. What if? Oh my God! What if it's Storms in Colossus? Is that worst case scenario? Is that worst case Ontario?
I am not sure if it's worst case scenario, but it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
We need to see what we just. I don't think at this point we can theory craft a lot about this song because Storms is a thing that exists and that we completely blanked on before.
I mean, yeah, we kind of just zeroed in on the fact that Epona's is probably is required and Requiem probably required. There's a good chance that it's required. It's like, oh yeah, Storm, you know that other song, like whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
But okay, no, actually, no. Wait a minute here, no. Because in order to get OOT, you need to beat Spirit, which means that it can't be Requiem, and it can't be Epona's, right? Because you need Epona to get the strengths to beat Spirit, and you need Requiem to logically clear Spirit, which means that OOT has to be Songstorm, and there's Iron Boots. That is most likely the path right there.
Yep.
Is it for Epona's? Is it for Requiem? We don't know yet. Well, we won't know until Sponge crosses, but maybe that will be Sponge's saving grace in this race.
Yeah, because quite likely Sponge is not done here. Sponge will go left side now and will, or will he not? Oh,
no.
Come on!
Oh, no.
Well then.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to get I mean, if the song is Epona's, he's going to come back, which means maybe he'll do GTG, but most likely he's going to clear Spirit first, right?
But we're going to get information, which is a great thing. So from a viewer's perspective, we are getting more more input here. The Iron Boots are very likely a path item. I would agree. Get that Boomerang, get the song off of
they have to
Prelude.
Be. They have to be, right?
Yeah.
Because they lock one of Eponia's and Requiem, and we know we need both, right?
Yeah.
So that is 100% the path.
That's true.
Yeah.
One advantage that Sponge has at this moment is that he will not have to do what the Hells is about to do, the Back of Shadow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because
Sponge,
Sponge will be able to go mode this thing.
Yeah.
I do think What the Hells did pick up the Bosky earlier, so that the key layout is go modable. Is you can skip the Back of Shadow if you don't need any item from the back of there.
So what I'm thinking is, if the song in Desert Colossus is Epona's, What the Hells most likely wins. The only thing that could be bad for him is if he doesn't go back into GTG and Requiem is hard required. If it's Requiem, then Iron Boots are absolutely 100% without a doubt required. And that is, so basically, if you're a fan of the Salty Sponge, you want to see Requiem. If you're a fan of What the Hells, you would like to see Epona's.
Yeah.
You picking up what I'm laying down?
I'm absolutely picking up what you're laying down. My next question to you is, when is What the Hells, or would What the Hells head back into GTG?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because he's going to clear Shadow. He's going to be like, okay, well, there was nothing there, right? So, like, what do I do? Do I go back into GTG? Do I do more stuff? Because he's going to know that the path is not hover boots, right? He's going to know that. So, for all he knows, there is an Iron Boots sitting in GTG waiting. The question is, does he say, okay, well, I'm just going to bank on it being Epona's and Requiem is not hard required, and I'm just going to cross right away? If he doesn't want to play that risk, then you absolutely continue doing stuff in GTG until you find Iron Boots. And once you find Iron Boots, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically your go mode, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a few steps from go mode, but you know you have solved the puzzle at that point.
Yeah. So we're going to find out very shortly here what the song on Requiem is. Nice Icy Waters hint.
Really useful. I think that's a hard piece on top of the archway. It doesn't come into account.
Who cares?
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Is it Opponents or Requiem?
Yeah, Burning Cack is indeed Bolero, as Chad is asking.
It's
Requiem. Ooh, this is really good for
100%.
Sponge.
Yes, this is basically the only way that this can possibly work out in Sponge's favor. Because now he's going to set FW. Oh, he's going back into Ice Cavern. Because now he doesn't have to set FW here. Right. Which means he's going to get the Boomerang, clear Jabu,
yeah,
get Eponas, go straight back to Gerudo Fortress, and then he's going to be able to set FW in GTG. So as soon as he clears Spirit, he's going to go right back there and get his hover boots. The only issue with that is, what the hell has like nothing. He has nothing else to do. Like, he is going to get railroaded back into GTG super hard.
Yeah, so
No
Sponge
matter
is
how you
on a
look at
hard timer, basically.
Yeah.
For doing what you suggest he's doing, and he has a lot more options, a lot more ways to route this than what the Hells has at this
Yes,
point.
that's true. And Sponge does have FW set in Jabu as well. I'm not sure if what the Hells did. It looks like he's going back into Shadow, so maybe he also set FW. Oh no, he set FW. Okay, he's going back into GGG. Okay, this is probably over then if he just gets the Iron Boots.
We'll see.
He's thinking about it. Yeah,
He's thinking of it. He's committing.
He's committing, but he also shook his head, which means he's not happy about it. Did maybe he change his mind?
He's dropping for Roar's Wind again. He's probably peeking the maze.
Yeah.
And because he didn't do that so far.
Yeah. He just came in, did these checks. Oh no, he's crossing. Okay, well, I mean, clearly GTG is still on his mind if he's setting up W there, but he is going to cross, which means that yeah, we might see some divergence. It's really hard to imagine what the hell is doing anything other than GTG after Spirit, though, is the thing. So
I mean, he's going to be locked out of Spirit, honestly.
yeah, definitely. Which means yeah, at this point we are going to see Sponge do Child Spirit. Is it hard required at this point? I don't know.
I think he's covering his bases here mostly. He's going to do the 2 checks in Child Spirit.
Yeah,
he knows.
Yeah, he might as well when you're going back Child anyway, and then you can just set up or just use FW, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be interesting if he hasn't got the logic quite as far figured out as you have, to see if at this point he would do more than just the first 2 child checks. In that case, he could be losing a bit of time because obviously they're easier to do as adult. Okay, so logically, definitely required child.
Yes, but we know that now GTG is passed specifically for Eponas on the Prelude check. Is that a big chest or is that a key?
It's a big chest.
Ah, interesting. No, it's boss key.
Oh, boss key.
Well,
Okay. Hard required. Hard required child side. Cool.
Well, thank God Requiem was vanilla then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This could have been a slog.
Yep. I mean, yeah, either way you look at it, you're going to have to do Jabu. But yeah, I have to imagine you just pick up the key here and
you bail.
Hit the FW button and finish up Jabu.
Get to Jabu, finish it up, get your Epona.
Yep.
Because as you said, that needs to be the other song that's currently accessible to us. Yep, as you said, Epona on his mind, finishing up Jabu.
I'm curious. I don't know if what the hell set FW here, so he may have to do some walking back to get into Jabu, and that's a bit of time that can definitely add up. I mean,
I think he said it.
You think he said it? Okay. But he is also going to have to walk back to Ice Cavern. That is 100% time loss on his part compared to Sponge.
Where was Ferora's Wind? KLO? We start with Ferora's Wind in Speedgaming settings.
It's SGL, FW is always start. You have to find magic to use it, but you don't have to hunt for FW. And that I think it's a welcome change.
It is very
yes,
welcome.
Schrodinger's bubble there. Sometimes that bubble can be a little annoying until it spawns on your camera. Like you have to cull it basically.
Probably irrelevant, but we'll see.
BGS maybe? Double defense? All right, yeah, we'll take it, I guess. 7 hearts, like who cares? But yeah.
We'll take it. We're not complaining.
Yeah.
There's Requiem for What the Hell's Walking into Spirits
Probably
and
just
dropping for Rose Wind.
No, but you have Requiem, bro. You don't.
Oh
need
no,
to
he's
do-
calling
oh, no,
for
he's,
Rose
he's
Wind.
going
He's
back.
returning. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, okay, well, clearly, yeah. There's Iron Boots in GTG. So, yeah. All right, so I'd have to say that at this point, it's probably GG. The writing was on the wall for a while, but I'd have to imagine, as long as
yeah, with What the Hell's just having an entire Shadow Temple ahead of Sponge at this point.
Even though the fact he does have to walk back to ice, it's still going to play out, I think, in Hell's favor. Although I think it will be somewhat close. But at this point, we are a Jabu and a Spirit away from having our final 4 determined.
Yep, and the puzzle is more or less solved at this point. We have logicked out where the remaining songs need to be. It'll be Epona on Prelude. There's no other way, right? It can't be.
There's no other way, yeah.
Okay.
Because we know that Storms is on OT. We know that Bolero is on Burning Cack.
And that's it.
That's the point. I think really the biggest difference maker was early on in the seed. What the Hell is prioritizing Child Skulls and getting that K sword in Child 1.
Yeah, that set him up for the whole seed.
Yep.
That got him into Deku. That got him the hook shot. That got him the long
strength
shot.
and the long shot in Lake, and then you just do Forest, and then you basically you do Ice Cavern, you cross, and you're good to go.
And basically, after doing Forest, you just paint by numbers.
Exactly, yeah. That's how she goes sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Okay, another key for What the Hell's. I think he just saw that there's a big chest in the maze, but I'm not sure.
He's trying to prove me wrong by not peeking the back of the maze. And then we gotta, like, what else do you do at this point?
I can't imagine that you leave any check in GTG behind at this point.
Except for toilet.
Except for toilet, obviously, because like, at the point you have the Iron Boots, you are not interested in anything else.
No, not at all. Alright, Sponge is doing the optimal strategy for this room. But it is not the coolest strategy for this room, notably. And I think that we should have a clause where, but it was cool. Gets you -5 seconds, as determined by the race mods.
Is that, like, okay, if you give it a coolness factor, do you also, I think it's pretty cool to not do box skip.
Yeah, it's certainly cool to not do a trick that saves 5 whole seconds if you get it first try, instead of failing it 3 times and then getting embarrassed on the restream here.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just playing it safe here.
Makes sense. With such a high stakes race, you're if you don't have box skip 100%, 110% down, you're just not doing it because you're locking yourself into having to do box skip at that point.
Exactly, yeah. And it's one of those things where you're playing on a new setup, right? You might not be used to the monitors that are on the live tournament setup. So, you know, there is some minor adjustments you have to make. Don't tell me he's leaving. Don't tell me. What are you doing,
No
bud?
way. Wait, where are you going?
What are you doing, bud? Are you going? Please tell me you're going to maze. Okay.
Okay.
Like, what else do you do in GTG? Oh, I guess there might be strength. No, but, like, you can't. I think that's just, like, being ultra safe, right?
Doing the peaks.
Yeah, I think he's just being ultra safe. This is what
Yeah,
it is.
it's likely. Has now spotted the big chest, I think.
Yep. So, this should be setting the path forward for What the Hell's to finish the seed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sponge in a very nice fight against Veronate. No major technique errors. Got all the necessary technique to get this fight done and quickly and done and over with very quickly. And that is Jabu done for Sponge and about to head into Temple of Time for Prelude.
At this point, I'm actually curious. Oh yeah, this is good. He has to go back to Ice Cavern, so this is his best way of doing it. All right, and Sponge will be going adult. He has a whole Spirit and a whole Shadow ahead of him, but I just don't think it's going to be enough, you know?
No, I don't think so. What the Hells at this point obviously also needs to complete Spirit Temple, but Shadow Temple is just like Forest Temple. There's 15 minutes of linear slog.
Yeah. I mean, Sponge is going to be able to skip the maze, but like
that's a minute or two.
Yeah, that's not enough time. Yeah, it's hard to see this playing out. I mean, it is going to be pretty close, but
obviously, I'm happy for them to prove us wrong.
Yeah.
There's Epona, as expected, as required, honestly. How do you get back to GGG? You ride the horse, right?
Yeah,
You don't have Furor's Wind at this point?
No Furor's Wind, so you kind of just have to bank on it. You could reverse, but I think this is the same amount of time.
Yeah. So Sponge is probably going to save some time here by hitting 1,000 on horseback archery and then immediately firing off all the remaining arrows into nothingness, saving a few seconds there.
Yeah, I guess you could be like super technically optimal. I don't know if he's thinking. I don't know if he's that forward thinking, but if he does, like, man, that is like a 500 IQ move.
I mean, top runners and all that.
Yeah. Does the Salty Sponge have the mental fortitude to proclaim this comeback? I don't think it's happening, dude.
We'll see.
Yeah. He's going to execute out of his god mind.
Yeah. On the other hand, I mean, you can't wring blood from a stone, but maybe you can wring a win out of the Sponge.
Yeah, maybe. There's not really a name humor joke that works with what the hell has happened here.
I mean, that's basically going to be what we're going to have to talk about after.
Yeah. So he gets on the interview catcher and goes, so, what the hell happened here? Really makes you think.
Especially what the hell happened with those hints, because good grief, that was...
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Those were some hints.
Barnacles, Mr. Krabs.
Wow. Digging deep here.
Oh, fish paste. I gotta start getting the SpongeBob quotes in early, you know? Sponge will appreciate it.
I'm sure he will.
What's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama? Chili? No? Okay.
Yeah, that did you hear that? That one, whoosh.
Yeah, whoosh. What, they didn't have SpongeBob in Germany?
They did, but in German.
Oh, yeah, okay. Forget about it. Wait, so does that mean when Squidward goes to the new, like, utopia with all the other squids, and he's like, I don't think they're going to have it at the grocery store. Oh, my God, they do. Canned bread. Yes, but in German, it's Brot in der Dose, right?
In German, it's Brot in der Dose.
Which, of course, is one of our beloved friends in the Ooter community, also a good MMR player, and that is the name origin. So we have two Ooter players with a SpongeBob-related origin of their username, which is very funny.
It's also just an actual foodstuff in Germany. Look at this.
He's so big-brained.
Yeah.
He's so big-brained.
Five-head
oh, my God. This guy, he saves like 2 seconds. Yeah. Hells has to walk back all the way to Jabu, and I think he's going to have to he's going to have to go through an extra couple rooms. Sponge definitely saving some time with these FW plays, but...
we'll see if it's enough, honestly. Yeah. Will that amount to an entire Shadow Temple's worth of time?
Probably not.
That is basically the question.
It depends how. I don't know. I guess it depends kind of how they route Spirit, right, and how jetty it is. But I think either way, the math adds up. Like Sponge. Okay, here's how it works. Sponge has to do Spirit and Shadow. Spirit is X amount of minutes long. Shadow is 15 minutes long. So he has to do X plus 15. What the Hells has to go into Jabu and beat it, which is going to be at most let's say 10 minutes. Yeah. It's 7 minutes when you enter Jabu. So from here it's probably going to be closer to like. So he has to do that and Spirit. So he has to do 10 plus X. That being said, Hells strictly has about a 5-minute advantage if my math is correct.
I think you have that just about right, and it's basically the advantage that he already had when he had Forest Temple beaten.
The only other thing you have to factor in is that Hells has an age change that he has to do. But
it's an age change. It's
not
an
5
age
minutes.
change.
It's like a minute. Like, it's not going to add up. But I have to imagine the time difference when these two finish is going to be... Wait, we're forgetting something.
Are we?
We're forgetting something. Sponge doesn't have hovers. Yeah.
I mean, he does have Aurora's Wind in Spirit, though.
In GTG? I don't think he does, though, is the thing.
I think he dropped it there again.
You think he did? Okay, maybe he did. But that is going to be extra time, so, like, that just even, that's another nail in the coffin at this point, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
By the way, though, happy 2 hours.
Happy 2 hours.
You still having a good time?
You enjoying things, guys? Yeah. Woo!
There we go.
Yeah, but to be very careful to do woo and not clap, because they're both going to think the other one's finished. It's just like, oh. The nerves at this point, oh, man.
They're going.
Yeah. But yes, we are going to see... oh, that's another thing to think about. Sponge is not going to go mode Spirit.
Oh, because he's looking for those hover boots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's adding up.
If the fact that he didn't have hover boots was the final nail in the coffin, this is digging the whole 6 feet in the ground that we're dropping the coffin into.
Yeah, it's adding up now. Okay, I'm not a fan of calling a race early, but you might be right that this is done.
Yeah, I think it's Jover, my dude. It's Tan Jover. Get it? Like Tan.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. You know what's also Tan Jover, I believe, is the
unimportant non-esport things.
The Toronto Maple Leafs game, which the final score, if I take a look here, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1-5-2. Let's go! Woo! Yeah, go Leafs, go! But much more importantly, the Montreal Canadiens take it 3-2 in overtime over the Boston Bruins. Let's go.
So
Let's go, Habs.
Two wins today for what the
3
hell?
wins because he beat me too.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's, like I said, I hate Montreal, but I hate Boston even more. So I'm happy with that result.
I got friends in Boston, so I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Weirdly enough, though, Cole Caulfield held off the score sheet. Kind of weird, doesn't it? Makes you think.
Who knows? Maybe he just wasn't feeling it that day.
Yep. Let's take a look at some of the other.
Speaking of just not feeling it, what the hell is working on relieving Jabu of his indigestion? Yes, I'm digging deep for that one.
Excuse me?
I mean,
that indigestion?
I mean, is it not indigestion to have several parasitic tentacles as well as a big old rotating parasite of blubbering mass and,
I'm pretty sure
and
that
jelly and jellyfish
at that
inside
point,
you?
Indigestion is the least of your concerns, my dude.
Yeah,
gotta get that checked out.
It's a polite way to say, yeah, he's not feeling too well, I guess, this fish.
At this point, I haven't really been paying attention to where the keys are in Spirit, how easily go modable this Spirit is.
Well, you do need Child Spirit.
You do need to do Child Spirit, which I think what the hell is going to figure out. I don't know if he's going to do it.
But I mean, at this point, Sponge has 3 keys.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
no,
this
Bosky
is
was
pretty,
on Child. Yeah, I forgot,
Bosky was on Child. You have another... You have 3 keys that Sponge has already done on early Child Climb and Adult side. So this is plenty go modable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need 3 keys. You need the boss key. That's quick.
Yeah, it's going to be
quick work of that.
Very short Spirit for what the hell is definitely.
Yep.
I'm guessing Sponge is going to go right back to GGG after this. Not that it's really going to matter too much, but you'd have to imagine that he'll probably be in Shadow by the time he finishes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to get back at Sponge for something he did earlier.
Oh?
I need to call this out. So, we've been talking about, like, obviously, like, mental fortitude and the resiliency of the racers, and I think it's a very underrated quality. Nice hammer, by the way. That blocks like one thing, I guess.
And we don't care about it at all.
Yeah, but I think it's a really underrated quality of the top racers is their ability to maintain their composure in high pressure situations. There is almost nothing more high pressure than a live event like this in front of a bunch of people watching you, judging your every single move, right?
In a tournament that has an actual cash prize.
Exactly, but the cash prize, the stakes have never been higher. And to that point, we've been talking about, like, when you make a mistake normally, when you're just, in your own bedroom or your stream room, wherever, and you're, I guess I made a close face over there. You think about your mistakes, and, you're just kind of thinking to yourself, oh, whatever. It's usually fine. You can just kind of write it off. In a live event, you're like, oh, man, everybody's looking at my mistakes. Like, I'm playing so terrible. Everyone's like, man, this guy sucks at the game. When in reality, most of the time, we're talking about other stuff, right? We're not at the point where we're meticulously picking apart every single execution mistake that somebody makes, and it kind of gets into this dynamic where you can kind of write stuff off. You don't have to think about too much of, like, what mistakes you're making and how people are thinking, because it usually doesn't matter. So after my race versus Hells, Sponge comes up to me and, like, by the way, I know nobody else noticed, nobody called it on a restream, but I noticed this mistake you did right here. I saw that. I'm like, why would you tell me that, bro? Whatever. So, Sponge, when you watch this restream later, I noticed that you fell in the Anubis room in Spirit. I noticed that mistake. Nobody else called it out. Nobody reacted to it, but I noticed it. So, there. Got your back.
I'm not gonna get into that. That would just be mean.
Listen, it's 1 for 1, eye for an eye, am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Nice Stone of Agony. More bait.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sponge is on top of not being able to go mode Spirit, he's also getting plenty of bait served to him, honestly.
Yes, indeed. We will see Twinrova for the first time. We will see Sponge technically enter. I mean, I guess they're both in go mode. But Sponge technically enters go mode first, but he has a whole shadow ahead of him, whereas Hells, I mean, he didn't do Child Spirit, right? So he's going to have to go back, but, like, who cares? It's going to take, like, 2 minutes.
That is true, and Hells warping to Forest Temple, or warping to Sacred Forest Meadow more accurately, has Furor's win stored in GTG.
What are you doing? You have Requiem. What are you doing?
He wants to get to GTG for horseback archery. Because he needs.
Oh, he never got the strength.
Yeah, he needs the strength. Okay. He just got Epona.
Okay, you're right.
There you go.
He's so much smarter than me.
No, I have moments.
Having a real what the hell's happened moment.
Yep.
All right, so will he do the same as Sponge? Will he get the 1,000 and just X out the rest of his arrows?
Absolutely.
Or you think it's going to happen?
Top runners.
Care to make it interesting?
Sure.
$5?
Deal.
You're on, bud.
Side bets. You gotta love them.
Side bets between the commentators in a live race. Like I said, the stakes have never been higher.
For sure. I don't actually have any cash on me.
That's fine.
So you're just gonna have to live with me paying that in, a can of excellent beer or something.
Something like that. Yeah, we'll hit up the sheets afterwards. We'll see what we can find for $5.
Sure. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700.
Pretty carefully. Okay, yeah, he doesn't care. Yep. All right. I owe Tobias $5.
Alrighty.
I do have 3 $1 US bills in my wallet. If you'll accept that.
You're good, I think. we'll take care of that later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But yeah, that is What the Hell's officially in go mode.
Go mode, yes, indeed.
And he will obviously have to go back
Child,
yeah.
He might, yeah, you're right. He might actually full clear Spirit.
Yeah. In search of that Bosky. We'll see. I don't know. I don't recall if he's getting locked out of here. The best thing for him to happen would actually be getting locked out as an adult.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But
meanwhile, though, Twinrova being not as annoying as they can be for Sponge. That's Twinrova phase 1 down. That's the hard part yeah, done and over with.
So, yeah, doing all of Spirit still faster than Shadow Temple. But the other thing is, Sponge still does not have those hover boots. He's going to have to get back. Okay, there is a key on this side, which means we're probably seeing all of Spirit on Hell's side, too.
Yep.
So we'll have to hope for Hell's having some big problems here doing this Spirit, and then allowing Sponge to go back to GTG, get the hovers, and just catch up as best he can.
But yeah, again, I don't think it's going to be enough for Sponge.
Yeah, it really it's.
Though I'll be happy to be proven wrong. Obviously,
it would be an insanely hyped comeback for sure, but I don't think it's in the cards today, my good man. But yeah, either way you look at it, we're gonna have to crown a winner eventually. Somebody's gonna have to win, somebody's gonna have to lose, and at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, who just played the seeds best.
Indeed, and both of them obviously made it far in this tournament. They've made it to quarterfinals. They are, as they say, in the money. In the shmoney,
yeah. The loser of this race is making a hot $75 US, I believe, is the prize payout, which is great. I think it goes up to about 200 when you make it into top 4, and then I believe first place takes over $1,000.
Yep,
so,
the prize pool got pretty big there, thanks to contributions by a bunch of excellent community members.
Yep, and there is he. Don't tell me he's going into water. He's check and shoot the sun. I think he's banking on not GTG at this point.
He's banking on this path being fully resolved. And I mean, it is obviously your path item is actually the iron boots. That has been fully resolved, but he has no indication that his hovers are in fact in GTG. So
does he though? Maybe he might be banking on the Lake Hylia path to Bongo. He's like, maybe this hasn't been resolved. That's probably what he's thinking. But you also have that that path to Twin Rova, right? Which still has not been resolved. Excuse me. No, the hover boots are complete coincidence. I'm completely wrong. Hover boots and GTG don't matter at all in terms of the path in. So yeah, he's basically just grasping at any straws. I think this is just, you know, you might as well full clear your way of the hero, because at this point, like, you have no other like direction in the seed, right?
If he full clears his way of the hero, though, that also means he's getting back into GTG, so that's actually not a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess so. But no, but the thing is, though, he cares more about his path to Bongo than he does about his path to Twin Rova, right?
For sure.
Because it's, what's he cooking? Okay, I guess he's going back to GTG. Yeah, there's nothing else he could be doing here, right?
I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is unfortunately going to play out a bit longer than we probably anticipated, but in the end, I think it's pretty clear-cut who the victor is.
Yeah, so obviously, as we can see, what the hell's Spirit Temple easily go modable if you want that, but unfortunately, due to the fact that the boss key is on child side, Sponge just did that first.
What's he cooking here? Big pose? Big question mark?
Not quite sure where he's headed yet.
This is not the way to get to. Nah, whatever. I mean, you were in Lake, so you might as well, and then circle back to GTG, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tech Tide. Bit of completionism. Doing that last Iron Boot check outside of Water Temple. Oh no. Is he just clearing up Iron Boots completely before he even thinks about going back to GTG?
Probably, yeah. So maybe he's going. Maybe water is the next step for him. Got your shield, yeah. Okay. The fact that he didn't warp there tells me, yeah, he's going to GTG. So he will hit go mode, I think, before Hells finishes. But
which is always good.
Yeah, too little, too late, unfortunately. Thankfully, Hell's almost done with his Spirit here. So let's talk a little bit about what we can look forward to tomorrow, shall we?
Absolutely.
So winner of this is going on to face your very own Toronto's very own Drunas the Goat, the Droat, my man, my carpool, my bed buddy for this event.
Speaking of strange bedfellows. Anyway,
he is yes, he is going to play versus presumably What the Hell is tomorrow. So yet another Canada versus Canada matchup. We haven't enough of those this tournament. On the other side of the bracket, we are having Kawari versus Mr. Mario, which is a USA versus USA matchup. So that's actually interesting. We have confirmed Canada versus USA Grand Finals. That's pretty exciting, huh?
For an event happening in North America, I think you couldn't get any more hyped.
I think everybody here knows what their allegiances are going to be, given how much we talk about Team USA versus Team Canada. You know, so we'll get disgustingly patriotic, I think, is how it's gonna go.
Oh boy! So how do the people from overseas fit into all this?
You pick your poison, I think, and I do mean poison.
There's go mode for Sponge.
That is go mode for Sponge. Tobias just ignored that. He's just like,
yeah, just I have no comeback for that, honestly.
It's like which one do you hate less? We get it.
I will give you the answer to that once I no longer require the good graces of the ESTA visa waiver program to stay in this country.
Listen, at the end of the day, we get it. Europe's just strictly better than us. It's fine. You have better transit. You have better hockey crowds. You name it. Like, you have all the advantages. So, you know.
You have the better gas stations.
Yeah. I mean, Sheets is a godsend. Unfortunately, we do not have Sheets in Canada, so that might be a +1 for the USA, you know?
I wasn't going to mention the brand. They should pay Speedgaming if they want to get mentioned.
Yeah, Sheets.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Hells here is going to check the last of the adult checks before he realizes he is forced into doing Child Spirit. He's probably shaking his head like, I can't believe I have to do this. I'm going to lose now. I'm so far behind. But yeah, at least Sponge is going to make it close here, I think.
Hex4F in chat asking, do Canadian hockey fans rush ice?
Do Canadian hockey fans do rush ice? Is the only thing we can do. There's nothing else in our country.
I mean, every day in fall, winter, and most of spring for you is rush ice. If you want to get outside your front door, that is.
You know, we have a saying in Canada, there's 2 seasons, winter
and mud?
And construction.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yeah. It's very fun for the 2 weeks of summer we get to have. And then it rains those 2 weeks. It's like, man, come on. I just wanted to touch grass once this year. Now I have to sit inside and play more randomizer, you know. There's no winning. There's no winning.
There is indeed not. All right, What the Hells is heading back Child for Child Spirit, about to pick up his Bosky.
This is going to be a lot closer than I think it could have been. If Sponge went right back into GGG, he would be maybe in a lot better of a position than. Yeah, this is going to be a lot closer, I think. Just doing the math here, you know.
I do not disagree.
Yeah, I'm really surprised how much Sponge caught up, to be honest. Given that he went all the way around Lake and you know, did check Tech Grotto and all that. In the end, though, it certainly is not enough time. Even though Twin Rova is a very long boss fight, it's still just not going to be enough, I think.
It would need to be the trolliest Troll Rova of all time,
yeah.
and on top of that, a death on Ganondorf for this to end up being close. But again, stranger things have happened. Yeah. In this very tournament, we have seen over yonder one of the Wind Waker runners actually taking a game over on their Ganon fight because Zelda missed.
You want to know something funny? I have it on good authority that Ilagatua in a pools match versus Rock Chalk died on Ganon and still won the race. That's
yes, you do have that on good authority, and I can confirm that because I was a race monitor in that room at that time. So yes, that happened.
And I believe the first words out of Rock Chalk's mouth after that race, after he indicated his finish, was "Thank you."
Yes, that is also true.
Yeah.
Might have been even a little bit more colorful, but we shall not repeat that.
Yes. So Hells is getting back into Spirit.
Bosky obtained.
Bosky obtained. He just has to go up to the statue. And with that, he will be very, very quickly finishing up this seed.
2 or 3 more minutes for Spirit Temple, plus then getting back into Ganon's Castle.
Yeah.
Or getting into Ganon's Castle,
I think
rather.
I'm thinking about going through the rooms. I'm like, man, there's not too many rooms. They're all pretty quick in Shadow Temple. And then I remember, that boat takes friggin' forever. That boat is a long cutscene.
That boat in itself is probably going to take about as long as what the Hells takes to finish the rest of Spirit Temple.
Unfortunately.
Depending on Troll Roba, obviously.
Yeah, of course, but...
And Zavi in chat telling us that it's actually possible for Zelda to kill you with light arrows in the final fight of Wind Waker.
That's funny. Please tell me that's happened in a race.
I mean, that must have happened in a race at some point. Also, Zavi, what in the world are you doing up? It is 5 a.m. for you?
Dude, have you seen his Discord profile picture? He's a Chad.
Also true.
He's a Chad, bro.
And you do have to stay up for one of the hypest matches in all of this SGL tournament.
Yeah, until tomorrow, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Until we get to the semifinals, and it's only the hype only ever increases.
All right, so here's my dream projection for bracket tomorrow. I kind of have 2 possibilities here because I mentioned, Drunus, one of my closest friends in the community. Would love to see my boy take home the victory.
For sure.
That car ride home would be the biggest party of all time. However, I also have a vested interest in grand finals being Mr. Mario versus What the Hells, because it would mean that the only 2 people that I lost to in this tournament were the people in grands. And that will help my ego just a small amount. I'll be like, yeah, okay, I only lost to the 2 best players here, so clearly I'm the 3rd best. That's how it works, right?
That has to be how it works.
Exactly. And that's what I'll be telling myself the entire drive home. Of course, we can't count out Quarry, who I think probably, I guess, the biggest underdog in the tournament at this point. Coming out of his group 3-0, getting the victory on What the Hells in pools, And I think it would be sick to see him take home the victory. I think a lot of people were maybe listing a couple different names, so probably put a lot more respect on the name of Quarry,
It would also, as you said, make the final another groups rematch.
Yeah, it would.
With What the Hells versus Quarry, then obviously happening later.
The point being, Tobias, no matter how it plays out.
There's no way you're losing in these finals.
Yeah. No. That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say, no matter how you spin it, tomorrow is going to be an insanely exciting day of Ocarina of Time Randomizer to finish out this tournament. No matter how it plays out, there is going to be an extremely hype final to this tournament.
No argument here. And on top of that, obviously, Ocarina of Time Randomizer doesn't stop with the end of the SGL tournament. The so-called main tournament, or like the OOT Randomizer Standard Tournament Season 7 has just kicked off today, basically hours before we started commentating this race.
Yep.
And is going to continue throughout the entirety of, the qualifiers are going to continue throughout the entirety of November and most of December. And after a short break over the holidays, we'll be launching into 2 tournaments. It will be launching into the main tournament, and it will be launching into the Challenge Cup for the best 64 and 128 players of the community.
Dude, this is literally a difference of less than 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah?
Between these 2. I gotta wonder if Sponge just reversed to GTG after he cleared Spirit. Maybe he might have been in the lead at this point, which I think we were writing him off for so long, and I think this is a testament to just how good Sponge is at the game. Despite not taking home the victory today, like his execution and his ability to play this game in such a high pressure situation, it's really exemplified in how much he's caught up. Despite for a long time being basically seemingly behind in this race. So it would have been very cool, you know, and very, very possible for the comeback to happen. And I think anybody who knows how these two players are knows that this could have gone either way for sure. Like, we could have easily seen a Sponge W today. Just didn't play out that way.
Yeah, I think if you go into a race against either of these players, nobody in this community expects like just to walk away with the win.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you want to win, you gotta have to work for it, and that is equally true. Obviously, if these two titans
of the game
is probably the right way to phrase it, face each other. But with that, Sponge is done fighting Bongo. Meanwhile, What the Hells is climbing Ganon's tower. This is a lot closer than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I know. I really mean it. That play at the end to go check Lake and then Tech Grotto really, I think, might have changed everything.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's reasonable to be thorough. It's reasonable to just clean up a little bit of your Iron Boots straggler checks before you ever go and commit to GTG or heaven help you Water Temple. So there's another big chest in the room here. Obviously,
yeah,
we're never gonna see what that is.
Yeah, it's probably just a bottle or a trip or something.
Bottle, bow, bomb bag. Bomb bag we've seen them all, but bows.
Ice arrows.
Bows are missing.
Fire arrows.
Yep.
Zora tunic. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen that quick spin strat before. That's cool.
Yeah, really neat. And that is all the enemies on the climb to Ganondorf done. Now just two more floors to climb.
The tension, cut it.
Yeah.
Cut it with a butter knife.
Cut it. I see what you did there, sir. And you will never beat me without the light arrows that I put into the first 2 minutes of your seed.
Yeah. Wow, Hyrule Field, who would have guessed?
Who'd have thunk? Amazing.
What?
I dumped them into a hole in the ground.
What?
You will never find those.
I think the big thing, honestly, that made this race so close was the fact that Sponge checked Child Spirit first and Hells didn't. Obviously, Hells still had to, or Sponge still had to do all the checks in Spirit because he didn't get the hover moves. Failing that, though, I have to imagine this would have been very easily.
What? Hold on. Did What the Hells just get a jump slash on Ganondorf before he even hit the ground?
That's the thing. You can do that.
Getting out all the techers today.
Yeah. All right, here is the final fight, the Ganon fight. This is it. As soon as this is over, we will see.
Semifinals roster will be set.
Yep.
And obviously, from Sponge's point of view, at this point, you're just going, don't snipe me, don't snipe me, don't snipe me, don't snipe me.
Unfortunate. And, like, he's probably going to just be entering the Ganon fight by the time that Hells finishes, right?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, this is so close. You wouldn't want to have it any other way, right?
No.
You wouldn't want to have it any other way.
Not at an SGL quarterfinals. Not while we're live on Restream, being broadcast to quite a few people in the world.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining in. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for all the exciting finishes to all the tournaments going on.
Yep.
And an exciting day of not only Ocarina of Time Randomizer, but a plenty of other racing communities out there.
That is true. The finals, obviously, of all the 9 tournaments that are, or most of the 9 tournaments that are happening in this, on this weekend in this hotel, or in this event venue, are happening tomorrow. There's Wind Waker Randomizer. There's, I think, SMZ3 wrapped up today. I think Mario Brothers Randomizer wrapped up today.
Yep.
But there are plenty of tournaments yet to finish. Link to the Past Randomizer is another one. Plenty of Zelda tournaments specifically, and plenty of other tournaments as well. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to the Speedgaming family of channels. for tomorrow's exciting events.
One more hit here for Hells.
Just one more hit and we'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
That
the most agonizing 25-second wait of today.
Meanwhile, Sponge has just beaten Ganondorf. Is about to enter
2
the
minutes
final
behind,
fight.
I'd say.
Yeah, just about.
Yes. But as Zelda finishes her attack here, just a few more seconds wait.
Chat,
the sword lights up.
Get your GGs in.
Give it up for the victor.
The victor.
What the hell's happened?
Moving on to semifinals. GGs. And with a time of 2:30 and 45 seconds, that's what the hell's win.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll get, some answers in the interview.
Yeah, I think Sponge might be. He's keeping his headphones on. He might be wanting to finish this out.
We'll see. I think.
All right, let's move aside.
All right, yeah, make some room.
Get the victors and the runner-up in our midst. Amazing race all around, says Game Nerd 74 in chat, and I couldn't agree more. This was some outstanding zootering for us. Hells, Sponge, want to join us for an interview? There are our runners coming in. Grab yourself a mic and welcome in.
How you doing?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You're exhausted?
I'm exhausted.
Been a long day for you, huh?
Can't quite hear what the hell's on my headset yet, but I'm sure that's going to be sorted very soon.
Yeah, he's pretty loud in my ear. In my left ear, anyway.
Yeah, it's coming through the.
My wire is so short.
Yeah, the cables are pretty short there.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of feedback here.
Oh.
Ref?
Can we get an assist from the sound crew here?
We got. Okay, thank you.
There we go. Thank you. All right.
Yeah. So obviously the big story at the beginning of the seed, the 20 skulls Kakiri sword, which we saw some divergence where Hells kind of did that way earlier. You managed to get 20 skulls all in Child 1, which meant you got to do Deku, which means you got to do Hookshot. So the lead was very much in Hell's favor for a lot of the race, but what was interesting was towards the end, we saw, Sponge had some pretty clever uses of Ferrari's wind, both the one in Jabu and the one in Ice, which allowed you to catch up. And then what kind of made things interesting even towards the end was Spirit, the fact that you had done Child Spirit and Hells had not. So Hells still full cleared all of Adult Spirit, which made things, a lot more interesting.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so I guess, at least for me, the part of the seed that I guess really screwed me was when I went to go get the strengths from HBA. I didn't go back into GTG. I didn't have hover boots. I saw the big chest in the maze, and I got the iron boots in the middle, and I knew, okay, I either cross and I get Epona, and I just come back, or it's I cross, I get Requiem, and then I go beat Jabu. I had my Furores and Ice. So I just go back, get the Boomerang, go Child, use Furores to active Jabu, and then, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And then I just never went back in for the Stalfos chest, so it's...
Yeah, I kind of felt that it might be a problem that I decided to go get the Mirror Shield early.
Yeah.
There was all these weird pieces of information, but you kind of had to pick one. At some point, it's okay, either I'm going to GTG, I'm going to Jabu, I'm going to Ice. So I just thought, okay, I'll go get the Mirror Shield first, because at least, I know I have to do. But I was this could be bad later, because maybe Epona's is on Force Med. But then I got the hints that kind of made it if I had magic, then I could have waited, but I didn't have magic at that point. So.
Yeah, and we definitely had to do some work figuring out the whole reasoning behiand the path.
It was crazy.
The biggest one was I think the GTG path to Twin Rova. We were okay, it's probably for a bow or a hook shot. Okay, no, wait, no, we have those. Okay, we have Mirror Shield. okay, so is it, a fire source maybe? Oh, nope. Okay, there's Din. So what's left? Oh, I guess it's just, Iron Boots, so you can get either Eponas or Requiem is what we had narrowed it down to. It had to be one of the two.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I went there with the intention of grab Iron Boots, leave, and basically what I did. But like in case it was something else, like it could have been Hover Boots, in my mind. But then it's just like do Shadow, and then if you don't get anything, come back. So
yeah, that's basically what I did. But in between, I went to Desert, kind of just hoping it was Requiem at that point.
Yeah.
And I was thinking also, I guess the Iron Boots could have been in Child Spirit, like with how the hints worked. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go do that.
I guess, yeah. Like if Jabu locks Requiem, and then you, oh no, that's not. You're talking about something else. My bad.
But yeah, that's. I did feel good after the 20 skulls. Like that bomb bag in Composer Grave, like really saved me for that because I was missing one skull. So I was just hoping, okay, am I going to get Requiem or Bolero to get like my one last skull so I can get my Kokiri sword? And then that bomb bag out of nowhere, then I just did DMT wall. And then once I realized, okay, this was all hookshot lock, it's like, okay, I think I'm feeling good at this point. But yeah, it was all the back and forth at the end that I was more worried about,
Yeah, I knew that I got into Deku too late, relatively speaking, and then I figured that, okay, let's just put myself behind in my head, and let's just continue to see it as normal. And then, like, when I got the Iron Boots in GTG, I saw it as a time save point, because I'm like, there's no way you're going to, like, leave this. So I'm just going to leave it here, and when I come back to get the strength, I'm just going to go for Spirit, because I feel like that alone would make up the time difference. I didn't know how far behind I was, but I definitely knew that entering Deku when I did was too late for your caliber of player. So unfortunately, I screwed up.
Just in general, I would be interested to know what were your opinions about, or what do you feel about the hints in this seed? Because those were some of the more funnier hints that I did see in my Zooter seeds, honestly.
Yeah, the double ice was kind of funny. Because, like, you find magic, and it's like, okay, that's Path, and then you just assume Nocturne, and it's like, cool. Just two items that we 100% need. It's not even, like, entertaining at all. Couldn't have been, like, Iron Boots in there. That would have been kind of funny. Like,
could have been Eponas, like, you just make it really weird. And
it's like, all right, well.
I think this could have been so much worse without the double sometimes hint for horseback archery.
That was crazy. I've never seen that before. Like just horseback archery having two of the same items and seeing that right at the beginning of the seed. Like that's so much information right away.
Yeah, you'd be able to, without that hint though, you'd be able to logic that out. Because you get the hover boots, you'd do Shadow, you'd get nothing. And then you'd be like, all right, well the only thing I had in there was Iron Boots. So it's either in water or get Rang, beat Jabu, get Epona. So it's like, at that point it would be a 50-50 between water and all of that. So.
And the hint for the other strength after that, like that kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing that before 4S.
I've never seen all three strengths hinted. That was nuts.
And Lake is hinted for Bongo, and you're like, wait, this for the other item? Like, it was a lot of information.
We had an interesting conversation about when you guys were doing horseback archery. It's like, okay, well, you already have the one strength. You don't need the third one. So are they just going to hit 1,000 and then just bang the rest of their...
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so then Sponge did it, and we're like, okay, he's a genius. And then you're going up, Hells is going up to horseback archery, and Tobias is like, is he going to do it? I'm like, I don't think he's going to do it. Yeah, he's going to do it. So then we put $5 on it, and then you ended up doing it. So, you know,
really?
$5 short, unfortunately. But there you go. You guys are both high IQ players. So.
No, I just have shit aim. So I was like, if I don't need to do more, I'm just going to do the minimum.
Yeah.
I don't know about high IQ, but there's some IQ.
Just
I don't
lazy.
know if it's high IQ.
Yeah, just lazy. Okay. By the way, Hells, you see the score?
No.
You'll be happy to know. You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
You'll be happy to note that the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 in overtime over the Boston Bruins.
Easy.
Let's go.
Easy.
And you'll be even happier to know that the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Canucks 5-2. So
okay. I mean,
you'll
yeah.
be happy tonight.
It's mostly a good night tonight.
It's the start of the season.
And we're back to hockey.
You're gonna go back to our hotel rooms and watch Andrei Kopitar hit three in the net tonight.
3 empty netters.
So we will be seeing What the Hell's tomorrow against your very own Darunas. So we've got Canada versus Canada on one side, and then we've got Mario versus Kawari, USA versus USA on the other side. So guaranteed grand finals is going to be USA versus Canada.
Oh, that's
so
hype. That's hype.
very
Okay.
exciting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wait for that. It's going to be, no matter how it plays out, we were talking like, no matter how the matches play out tomorrow, it's going to be in a very exciting finish. So, yeah, I can't wait to see it.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say to the crowd here or to the crowd in chat?
I like the wooing. The wooing was good.
We shall.
Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't know if they were wooing at us or wooing at the other games or just wooing in general. So I'm just like, what does that mean?
We just had a good time.
Yep.
I hope so.
We're
Look,
vibing.
at least the race was entertaining, I guess. Like if I'm gonna lose, it at least makes me feel a little bit better that people were like, yeah, that was a good race. That was an awesome race.
It was
like,
a really good race.
yeah.
We should do a best of 7, like just
We've already done that.
no, but like it
Oh.
in a week. We play every night, like until one of us gets 4. Like let's just make it like rivalry week, and then we'll just do Monday to Sunday.
I mean, by next year we might have a best of 7 done already. I don't know if it's 4-2 or if it's 5-2 at this point, but
Maybe 4-2.
yeah, I think it's 4-2.
I think we said it was 3-2 yesterday. So.
Well, we'll ask the peeps who have the head-to-head tournament record
Oh, yeah.
spreadsheet, because that exists somewhere. All right,
All
I'm
right,
good though.
with that, I think we're ready to wrap it up. Thank you so much for letting us have Speed Gaming 3 today was basically the Ooter stream all day. So thank you
Yeah.
for having us be our space.
Yeah,
We got me versus Hells, we got Quarry versus Decker, and then obviously Sponge versus Hells again. So thank you. And Speed Gaming staff, we love you. Thank you for putting this on. Thank you to Star and Tobias for helping to organize everything.
Thank you to
our
Starlight,
trackers.
and
Starlight and
One
Traveler.
Traveler for tracking for us today.
Yep.
And thank you to obviously Sponge and What the Hell's for putting on a hell of a race for us. And thanks to you, Jamie, for volunteering to commentate this
Yeah,
with
thank you for commentating with me. It was a pleasure.
me. Absolutely.
Also, my mom might be watching, so hi, Mom.
Amazing.
That's cute.
Hi, What the Hell's mom?
Go Leafs, go.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.